time.
What's up, guys? We are live. So we got Michael Sartain Jr., named Sergio, joining us.
Hey, we're both from Dallas too. It's kind of ironic.
Yeah, that is true. Um, but you don't get along with Rollo, I think, right?
No, but I mean, I heard he just cut a bunch of people off lately. So
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, anyway, it's gonna be me and Sergio, Purple Pill Pod. Sergio's a good dude. I've had him on my channel. I've been on his channel. Uh, he's one of the very few like reasonable red pillars, even though he calls himself a red pillar. I don't actually think he's a red pillar. I think he's more like kind of like fucking like me, like neutral pillar. But yeah, we largely agree on shit. The topic at hand is going to be: is pick up a social circle game better for the majority of guys? But anyway, we were just shooting the shit, but I figured it'd be cool to just go live so people can listen to the discussion. So you were asking me about what exactly with the app?
yeah, just the details on it. Like, how does somebody use it? Like, if I'm using a dating app or I'm using Instagram, and a girl sends me a message, or like if you're just trying to start it, how does your app work? Does it tell you how to start the message? Do you copy and paste what the girl sends, or is it integrated with other apps? Like, how's that work?
Yeah, so I would have loved to do an integration, but with Tinder and Bumble, but the only way to do that is to if they give you their API data, which they will never do in a bazillion years. So it would have been more awesome if it's like it's just like automatically does it for you. But unfortunately, there's zero way to do that unless you're like a multi-billion-dollar company or something like that.
Yeah.
So the way it works is that you basically would like write in. You can just copy what the girl said, paste into the app, and it would tell you what to say next. You can give the app context, so you can be like, "Hey, I want to make a sexual joke," or "Hey, I want to play it more chill," or "Hey, I want to actually go for the close." So you can also communicate what you want to the app, what you want to do, and it will give you a series of responses based around that. In terms of openers, it wasn't designed for openers, but there's a workaround to do it. It's a little confusing, but there's a way you can use this app to generate openers, but it's not primarily designed for that.
Wow, that's pretty cool though. No, I've always wanted to make an app, but it's too complicated for me. So I'm gonna have to talk to you off camera one day for you to help me out.
Well, I'm
Just
not
to know how much it costs. Like, that's what I'm really trying to figure out.
Well, for me, the cost was like less than $1,000, but that's because my business partner was a developer, so I provided the all the training. So I was in charge of actually training it, but he did all the coding and the programming, all of that stuff, creating the website, whatever. So that's kind of how we split it up. And I'm also kind of like the face of the company, right? He's more behind the scenes. So it didn't cost me really anything. The only cost was buying the website for buying the domain name for the name we wanted, because we chose the name like much later, like after we were already developing the app, because we couldn't decide a name for a while. And then we chose a name. We're like, okay, this is good. And then we realized what the name is firetext.com was actually the domain was bought out. And we're like, fuck. So we're like, well, we can do firetextapp.com. I was like, no, I want firetext.com. I don't want people getting confused. So we were negotiating with the people back and forth because they were like, we'll sell it to you for like $2,000. I'm like, I'll give you
Oh,
500.
fuck
So we're
you.
going back and forth. Finally, we were able to buy it for $800. So that was really the main cost was starting the app.
Wow, that's crazy. I'm gonna have to talk to your partner then if he wants to help me develop something. Maybe he'll work a deal. Maybe he'll work a deal with me, or probably
Maybe
not.
if you give him massive amounts of money, but he's got it because he has his own app that's I'm not involved in. And now he's got this, so he's got his hands like massively full right now. But I'm sure if you give him a lot of money, he'll do it.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe he can help me just walk through how to get the guys from Upwork. I know how to do most of the work, just not all of it. I'm actually trying to make a test right now. It's a compass test, and it's kind of like in what we talked about, lately is a compass test is like the political one where it's like Democrat, like or liberal, like when you take the political compass test, it like shows you like how liberal you are versus like
Mhm.
just like your political ideology. But I'm doing one for like how red pill is somebody, like how much they know about evolutionary psychology. So like super big questions in evolutionary psychology, like do women like this or like
Prediction:
that?
99% of red pillars are not actually going to be red pilled or know anything about evolutionary
That's what's gonna
psychology.
be so funny about it. And that's what, and, but that's gonna be one of the compasses. But how blue to red are you? And then the other axis is going to be black pill to a white pill. So it's gonna be I'm gonna ask questions about how they are like emotionally and how they feel about the future and or how they feel about dating and all those feel answers depending on how they feel about things will determine if they're a white pillar or a doom or a black pillar.
Mm.
It's gonna
Is
be
White
funny.
Pill associated with Hope? There's only one person I've never heard that before. I know there's Coach White Pill, but he's generally a pickup guy who's doesn't really show pickup, but he believes in all the same shit I do, generally speaking, when it comes to pickup. So I didn't know White Pill was associated with like being more optimistic.
The only person who I've ever heard of being called white pill was that regularly is well, who's that guy who's like really famous? Michaela Peterson's dad, Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson is always known as like the white pill guy because he has all this hope and stuff,
Mhm.
and he
Wait,
says all the feel good shit.
Jordan Peterson
Yeah,
is the hopeful guy. Jordan Peterson has become one of the most pessimistic people ever.
I mean it's just because he like tells you the Christian route.
2017 Jordan Peterson, maybe 2016, 2017. There's a
Maybe
big
that's
difference
where people
between
reference him.
yeah the pre I guess illness Jordan, and I feel for him. What he went through was horrible in terms of his health. But there's a massive difference between the way he was before he got sick and the way he is now. I mean, he went from being like kind of like a I care about justice and fairness and helping people. I kind of am an outsider of politics, so like I'm a diehard like conservative Republican, like TradCon, and just repeat all the same talking points. So he's definitely done a 180. As a result of like the horrible shit he had to go through with his addiction to benzodiazepines, which if people don't know is probably one of the worst addictions you can have.
Oh,
It's
1,000%. Yeah.
it's truly miserable. Let me just quickly address a few super chats. The school of thought PBODA game, I'd argue that this is what 13 are against. Obviously, social circle game is more efficient. Yeah, we'll discuss it. So you can be in pickup, you can believe in pickup, you can think social circle game is retarded and still not do super direct game, not do direct game. So what direct versus indirect means? Direct is like you go up to a girl and say, "Hey, I thought you were really attractive. I want to meet you." Indirect would be going up to the girl and be like, "Hey, that's a cool t-shirt. Oh, cool. I love that band," right? You go indirect, right? And then you transition it. So yeah, so I think that's kind of I think they're a little bit different there. But status plus indirect game is better. Status makes everything better. Direct game is better with status. Indirect game is better with status. Did you read Dan Bilzerian's book, The Setup?
That's so funny. No, I haven't read it yet, but I do have it. I need to start it. But no, it just came out on audiobook and I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna do it on audio because I hate reading paperbacks.
Yeah, me too. I already finished it. Yeah, it's a good book, but he actually talks about pickup and like game stuff much more than I've ever seen him do publicly in interviews or whatever. But he's actually familiar with pickup. Like he's familiar with mystery. He said he read the mystery method or the game or whatever. So he's familiar with pickup. But yeah, so he talks about that when you have a high level of status, being indirect is preferable. He gives an example of like he had this like really rich friend and they went on like an island together and it was like him, his friend, and like 20 girls. And his friend was like being way too direct and he was just striking out. And then Dan Bilzerian like got him drunk one night and just told him to like chill out, let the girls come to you, and then he got late that night. So yeah, Bilzerian definitely would believe in indirect game with status. However, I would argue that if without status, he'd probably argue in favor of direct game because he talks about when he was growing up and when he was in college that he would go out and just cold approach girl after girl, right? So he used to do a lot of pretty direct style game. It's just that after he became famous and he adopted more indirect game mindset. So yeah, I definitely think how much stats you have will be correlated with what type of game you prefer.
Another thing, like y'all are talking about like direct and indirect a lot. The big thing is more about intent based or not. So if you are talking to girls with intent is the big distinction between what I talk about and what I think pickup artists talk about. Because I just don't have the intent to try to sleep with them immediately. Whereas I think that pickup usually, like whether they're direct or they're indirect, they're kind of having an intent of trying to fuck the girls.
But you have an intent to ultimately fuck the girl, right?
No, sometimes I'm just really like legitimately planting seeds and just trying to build relationships and just be friends with girls until pussy falls into your lap.
But the
Like, and that
ultimate, the end goal is to have sex with a girl, right? Like you wouldn't, for example, do that with like a tranny or like a fat chick, I assume, right?
yeah, of course not. It's
Yes.
only with really pretty girls because pretty girls have pretty friends. Yeah.
I think it's more about delayed gratification is what you're talking about. Like you're basically saying, "Hey, I'm willing to really delay the gratification for however long it takes and really play the long game." Versus pickup artists are more about playing the short game. It's like, "Hey, I want to get the gratification, tomorrow or a week or maybe 2 weeks from now." So I think a better paradigm is like how much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, how like are you playing the long game, the middle game, or the shorter game? I would argue that the middle game and long game somewhere between short game and long game, depending on what is the preferred is the ideal strategy. So I think for like self development and like fitness and just social skills, you have to play the long game. Your social skills, your fitness, none of that is going to improve. Fast. All of that takes time for the vast majority of guys. Versus with things like, like you meet a girl and like you want to have sex with her. Like in my opinion, you're better off like trying to make that happen soon because if you wait too long, then you might get friend zoned. She might meet another guy. She might lose interest, right? So but yeah, I understand what you're doing is a bit different because you're not just waiting. You're like getting the girl in on your social circle, and then you're leveraging that to meet other girls.
Yeah.
So, but I do think that's an important distinction. All right, let me just quickly address. Did you burn your bridges with Andrew and Malik? I don't know where this idea comes from. That like I burned my bridge with Malik. Me and Malik are totally cool. I was literally talking to her on Instagram, like yesterday or 2 days ago. She's just tired of speed dates because every time she comes on, there's like fucking 70% of the audience just tries to shit on her. So, but yeah, me and her are still cool. She's totally down to come on for any debates. Did I burn my bridge with Andrew? I would argue that Andrew burned his bridge with me, but anyway. That's a whole different aside. Um, all right, I think we can get into if you're ready. We can get into the main topic of this, or is there anything else you want to discuss before we do that?
No, that's fine.
Okay, cool. So just once again to clarify for the chat, what in this debate the proposition is pickup or social circle game better for most men? Right, we're talking about most guys. We're not talking about every guy, right? So I think it's an important distinction. So, do you want me to give my opening statement first, or do you want to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So a lot of this sometimes comes down to what exactly is your goal as a guy. If your goal is to just get sex, then yeah, sometimes pickup might be best because it's the shortest route to getting sex. If your goal is to get genuine desire, a girl who really, really is down for you and is more chasing you or coming to you and coming into your frame, I think it is better to always do social circle game. And the problem with a guy who is, say, between a 3 and a 6 or a 3 and a 7 guy, the average normie dude, is he will end up, either simping for pussy, simping for just sex, or he's going to end up in a relationship where he's still a simp and in the girl's frame because he doesn't know what genuine desire looks like. And he probably can't get genuine desire anyways. That's why he's hitting up 1,000 girls the pickup way to be able to play the numbers game just to get sex, period. So at the end of the day, it's about what your goal truly is. And I think every man's true goal is to get genuine desire. It's not to just get sex. And if it is to get genuine desire, then you truly do need to do social circle game, even as the average man, because you want a girl that's coming to you, coming and falling into your lap, and really is down for you. The way that I do social circle game, so everybody understands, is that I friend zone all the prettiest girls in the immediate vicinity of whatever hobby, place of work, or side job that you are around where there's lots of women that I promote. And then once you're in those places and you're friends with those girls, it's when they bring a friend in that you show immediate intent with those friends. You friend zone the first girls. The first round, group A, is all friend zoned. You're friend zoning them immediately. The second round of girls that they bring in their friends, you show immediate intent you try to show that you like them. If they don't like you or whatever it is, you add them to the friend roster. If they have a boyfriend or whatever, because the problem with pickup is sometimes you drop off girls that are good girls to have as friends. So or they're about to break up with their boyfriend in a couple weeks, and they're just saying no to give you their number right now just because of that. So it's not good to fucking send them off to the side when you could be smashing her in a few weeks, or you could use her as getting one of her friends in the near future. But yeah, that's my big point.
Yeah, so I would agree that for the Dan Bilzerians and Michael Sertains of the world, and even non-famous guys who have very good social networking skills, which would be you, right? You're not famous, but you have good social networking skills, or at least it seems like you do. That social circle game would be better. It would be more efficient, and you would also probably have access to higher caliber girls. So yes, I would argue for that, but I think the very important but here is that that is only a small percentage of people. Most people are not famous, and even the non-famous people, most guys do not have good social skills. The vast majority of guys have, at best, average social skills, social circle things. But they have the like average at best social skills. That's what I was trying to say. Was much difficulty. And the problem for those guys, if they meet a girl and try this strategy, nothing's going to happen. The reason that the girls you friend zone are introducing other girls to you is number one is they probably find you charming and charismatic. Number two, you are doing it from a place of abundance and not scarcity. That cannot be understated, right? And most guys are in a place of scarcity, and you can't just mentally get your way out of scarcity. You truly have to be living in abundance, right? So that is so when they try the strategy, like so let's take like the average guy who's maybe had sex with one or two girls, which is the average guy, right? And they meet an attractive girl, they're attracted, like, okay, I'm just gonna friend zone her, right? The girl's gonna be able to sense through that this is just the guy trying to play the long game, right? And this is not really a guy that she wants to hook up her friends with, and nothing is going to happen. So that's why I would argue for the average guy. I think what they need to do is learn really good social skills, which is going to happen from pickup. I won't say that social circle game is useless in terms of learning social skills, but again, you need to it's like it's like investing in a big company. Like in order to invest in a company, right, you need to have some money to begin with, right? So most people don't have the excess money to even begin with to invest in businesses, or at least not to a statistical degree. So if you don't have those really solid social circle really solid social circle skills, and just social skills in general, right, and you're just going out and trying this, like nothing's going to happen. I mean, that's why there's so many guys who are friend zoned, right? They're trying to play the long game, which is sort of what you're doing. But again, they don't have that confidence, charisma, and natural level of abundance that you would have, or Michael Sartain would have. And thus, what happens? Nothing. They just get friend zoned, and that's the extent of it, right? Because again, girls, maybe not consciously, but subconsciously, are going to be fairly picky about who they introduce their friends to. She doesn't want to introduce her friends to someone who's desperate. She doesn't want to introduce her friends to someone who she thinks is just weird or awkward, right? So and I think you need pickup for the vast majority of guys to get to a place where you have the luxury of doing social circle game.
Okay. No. So just to because you're saying like it must be because I have charisma or I'm a good looking guy or something. I'll admit I'm 6 foot
No,
tall.
I'm
Like,
not. Looks is not in my equation at all.
but
This
like
is nothing to do with
charisma.
your looks.
But like
Because you have
charisma was the
good.
word that like you used, right?
Yeah, well, you have good social skills and good networking skills. That's exactly what I said.
Okay, but that was a skill though that I had to work on. I didn't lose my virginity till 19. Like I was a huge fucking loser. I've always been a massive gamer nerd that stayed inside a lot, like played a lot of fucking video games.
But how did you
But
learn those social skills to begin with? I'm assuming you weren't doing social circle game right off the bat. You
well, no,
must.
I kind of was. So because even at 18 years old, my best friend was a girl. Like whenever I got kicked out of my parents' house at 18, I moved in with a girl that was my best friend. I've always been around women. When I've always been my best friend. And if you look at Michael Sartain's early pictures, bro, dude had the greatest glow up of all time. Like Michael looked like the biggest dork you could ever see at like 18, 19, 20. No offense, Michael, if he sees this. It's bad. Like it's really bad. And that dude had the biggest glow up of all time, and it was mostly with him being friends. And the way that he was friends with girls was being like a manager at strip clubs and stuff like that, and I think other areas like that. And I had that best friend that was a girl, and she started working at Hooters, so then I got introduced to all the girls at Hooters through that. So my big argument is anybody can do this. It's about how early you start, well, how good that you'll do, and how much can you friend zone like a really hot girl, because it's all about best friending the hottest girl you could find, like the hottest one possible, because she's gonna have a lot of little beta girls around her that are really, if she's super hot, they're all gonna be really like pretty hot around her, and that's the girl that's gonna get you into all like the really fun shit. And also you get calibrated faster when you're around women. So you were saying like uh it's not good for most guys because they're not going to be good around women, and it's going to take a long time for them to get you. It's good to cold approach so you can like get used to talking to more women, but there's no way faster calibrating than constantly hanging around one girl as your best friend or a bunch of girls with her all the time. Like there's not a, even if you're acting like a beta bitch the entire time you're with them, you're at least learning about how they truly are. You don't have to read no evolutionary psychology books. You're gonna just understand female nature just listen to them bitches talk. Like, and a lot of guys are lacking today with women because of that. Like I'm not a book guy. Like I started reading the books a year ago just because I got into the space, but I knew everything that was in the books just from living life and being around women all the fucking time. Being in my mom's hair salon as a kid and reading the Cosmo fucking magazines and the horrible advice they give. A lot of guys just need to be around women or fucking read women's shit. Just put yourself in the position of a woman, and that's how you can understand them more. But most guys aren't doing that, and most coaches would never say to do anything like this ever. Most coaches completely push back about being friends. Also, somebody was saying in the chat, cold approach, is different. The bottom line is both sides have to cold approach. You have to cold approach as a pickup artist. You have to cold approach people, and I have to cold approach people as in social circle game. The only difference is I'm cold approaching girls to be friends with them versus cold approaching them to have intent to try to get a date or try to get a phone number. So it's two completely different ways, but you're still cold. You're always practicing that like little social skill that's getting your level up higher and higher and higher. So the pickup artist is doing it by talking to a bunch of people that he may never talk to again. But the person who's doing Soul Circle game, you're building a relationship with those people, which is one of the greatest skills that you can build. Building relationships and seeing who reciprocates and how to be altruistic without it damaging you, because that's like one of the biggest skills in life as a man is learning who you can be altruistic with and who you can't be altruistic with, and who's really in your circle and who's really for you, a person who really supports you and reciprocates energy, and who isn't.
Yeah, so if we look at like Dan Bilzerian and Michael Sartain, they both start off with cold approach pickup and then they transition. As a business, you typically start with active income and then transition to passive income. For sales guys, you start knocking on doors and then you transition to referrals, right? So there's where you're going to be 5 years from now is not typically not the place where you start, right? So I would agree that social circle is probably a progression or some variation of it to pickup, but that doesn't mean that the majority of guys can skip that early stage. Again, as a business, like if you're a salesperson, like I worked in sales for 5 years. I don't know anyone who when they started sales just started doing referrals, right? Like they were just their past customer because there was no past customers, right? So there's no referring them. Everyone starts off, doing much more of the cold thing where they're knocking on doors, they're talking to leads, and then eventually develop more skills, develop a circle of people who like them, who recommend other clients to them, and then if they're really successful, they transition to referrals, right? So I do agree with you, that's a good end goal. It's just not a starting point that's practical for the majority of people. And I would also say, like, okay, let's just kind of take a look at your situation. You mentioned that you were living with a girl at 18. Okay, that's all well and good. But who's the girl you lost your virginity to, and how did you meet her?
At 19, and she was introduced to me from my best friend. We were at a club together, and my best friend, she was like, "Hey, we gotta go outside really quick because we gotta get this girl inside." She was 17 at the time. She went to my old high school, but she was a 17-year-old girl, and well, both the girls were 17. And my friend knew the manager, like the door guys, so she like went and got the girls and was like, "Hey, yeah, we'll like sneak you into the club." And we snuck the girls in, and one of those girls was like, I was right there with my best friend because I was my best friend and I always was with her. And so she
Okay.
immediately, I guess, was attracted to me. And then, yeah, like we made out that night. And then, like a month later, I lost my virginity to her. Yeah.
Yeah, so you might be a little bit of an anomaly. You might have a totally different experience, and I'm not trying to validate that. But for example, for me, it's like the opposite. When I was in middle school and high school, I had female friends. I had probably more female friends than I do now. Okay, I had a lot of female friends. I, a lot of my cousins are girls. I mostly grew up like around a lot of other women. So yeah, like that was never an issue for me. But that still resulted in me going home and jerking off every night. And the first girl I slept with was through essentially cold approach. I met her at a bar, blah blah blah, right? And the first God knows how many girls. Now then, later on, what started happening, at least to a smaller extent, is that sometimes a girl that I would hook up with would introduce me to her friends, right? And that would bang the friend. Or sometimes I did friends like what I would do is I would like fuck a girl and she wasn't that attractive. I would just be friends with her. And some of the time she would actually introduce me to one of her female friends later, right? So I do understand the power of social circle game and how much having that pre-selection and that warm introduction, how much of a difference it can make. But again, for me, like I had all the female friends in the world. I still wasn't getting laid because again, I didn't really have that good social skills. So girls who I was friends with weren't like, yeah, this guy's nice, but they weren't actually going to introduce their female friends to me, at least not in a dating or romantic type of context. So that's what I'm trying to say is that for like, there's a lot of guys who are struggling with women who have female friends, but they still never get laid. Like, what do you think separates those guys from you? All the guys who have a bunch of female friends, but they can't get laid or even get a girl to date them. Like, what do you think makes them different from you?
They didn't friend zone the girl. That's almost 9 times out of 10. That's always it. Or they're still like somewhat sipping for the girl. Like they actually like their friends. And I know because I was that guy. I've had multiple friends that were like my best friends that were girls. Like there was one that I even lived with, like not the first one, but a second girl. And no, I'm not gonna lie, I really liked that girl. And like it was kind of weird because she was my best friend. But sometimes I would like have things for her because both the girls that I was best friends with that I lived with, we slept in the same bed together. So it was like it was very much the biggest tease ever with both of them, and I had to really learn to control my own sexual urges like really crazy at a young age. Like, dude, if you actually look up, Gandhi did the same thing. Like he used to like lay next to naked bitches and shit, and like kind of like practice his ability to not get horny and want to fuck them and stuff. And yeah, it's like it
Yeah,
was a weird
Gandhi's
little.
notorious for fucking his way halfway through Africa. That dude was fucking chicks left and right when he was in Africa, at least.
Yeah, he's a weird dude when it comes to sexual shit.
Yeah,
But I wanted to say, also it's about what is safe to women. So the whole point of pre-selection or mate choice copying is to just automatically hack into being using that status with a woman next to you, hacking into being safe. Because you know this from evolutionary psychology, like it was always really dangerous for women, like in for most of the caveman days and shit like that. Like men were fucking scary. Like there's a high chance that he could kill you or grape you or like something bad could happen. So there was a pre-selection is a very safe way of making sure that you're not going to get harmed. And even today in the internet world and stuff, and if there's 1% of guys that are psychopaths, women aren't dumb. So it's just a way of being safe. And a lot of guys, man, they might be attractive, they might be whatever it is, and they walk up to a girl, and just because he's not automatically pre-selected because of whatever, she might be scared of him. And like that sucks because they might have been a perfect match, but her little instinct to just kind of be scared of any random dude walking up, kind of can scare that.
yeah. So what you're saying, I think, is generally true, but it's not actually like backed up by any kind of statistic. The vast majority of time when a girl gets raped, it's by someone that she's friends with, right? It's not by a random stranger that she meets. So, but anyway, people make emotional decisions, not logical decisions. So I'll grant you that. And I also agree with your assessment that probably one of the biggest things that separates guys who just get friend zoned and nothing happens and guys who do what you do is they're the ones who are choosing to friend zone the girl, right? But I think there's also another element to it, which I don't know if you kind of hinted at it, but I think it was understated, which is that those guys are generally alpha. They're not little bitches. They're not little beta pussies, right? And there's not a lot of guys who are friend zoning girls who have female friends in general, a lot of female friends in general who are not beta pussies, right? That just is the case. Like, would you disagree with that assessment?
Until you learn, yeah. Like I think those guys learn sooner or later that they're being a
But
beta
just like
pussy and get
as
walked
is right
away.
now, we take all the guys in America who have multiple female friends. Would you say
I
most
think
of them?
most don't have multiple female friends. Like I think it's I mean, don't get me wrong, I think social circle game is actually like the biggest game that's used. It's just people don't talk about it. It's like it's the normal thing if you go outside type of thing. And to try to preach it is like trying to like tell people, that grass is green.
Yeah, so it really depends on how we define social circle game. I do agree with you that most couples, even nowadays, well, about 50% of couples are meeting through work, school, or friends, right? About 30-40% are doing it from dating apps, and maybe like 10% are doing it from like a cold environment, like they approach the girl at a bar or something like that. So yeah, about half the girls, half the couples are meeting each other through warm environments like school, work. That's really, those two are a big part of it, and of course friends. But that's looking at people who have successfully made it, right? There's a whole bunch of other guys who have female friends who don't have actually, who are not in a couple, right? They don't have a couple. I mean, they're not part of a couple because they weren't able to actually do, I guess, what we'll call social circle game. But I think that when we use the word social circle game, we don't mean just like meeting the girl you're going to date at work, or meeting girl through friends. I think we talk about something more systematic, which is what you do, and which what Michael Sartine teaches, which is a deliberate system of meeting girls by utilizing a social circle, right? That's not, most people are not using social circle game. It's just that they meet their partner through social circles. So I think that's an important distinction to make, that yes, a lot of people are meeting girls through social circle, but they're not doing social circle game, because game implies it's a system, it's a strategy, right?
Yeah.
And the strategy that you, Michael Sartain, and Dan Bilzerian even use is a fairly niche one, right? It is. In terms of like making a systematic thing. It's also in some ways counterintuitive. That doesn't necessarily make it bad, but to most guys, if you think about it, like, hey, I could either show interest in the girl, or and like have sex with her now. I could friend zone her to maybe have sex with her hotter friend later. I think most guys, it's more intuitive. Like, no, like I'll take what's more of a sure thing. Now, I think the reason the vast majority of guys do get friend zoned, or do take that option, is not coming from a place of buns. It's because they're too scared to make a move. So they're playing it really, really safe. And I think that's probably the biggest thing, is that you're not doing the friend thing because you're just scared of rejection. You're doing it as a deliberate strategy to get more abundance down the line. And that's not most guys. That's not where most guys are at. Like, would you agree with me that you can't just like mentally switch yourself from scarcity to abundance? It's like actually something that needs to be cultivated over time.
Absolutely. And you'll even see this with Michael, okay? So it's very deliberately choosing certain girls that you're friends with. So like, and you'll definitely see this with Michael. Like, some of his best friends are like the super popular, like really bad bitches. And like that's how it was for me. The girls that I chose to be my BFF, they were the super bad bitches, like the most baddest girls that you can imagine, because those are the ones that it can't just be any girl that you're choosing to be friends with. You have to be very strategic with what you're doing, or else this doesn't work correctly, honestly, at all. And it's all about also building rapport, going certain places, or doing certain things a lot. So it takes consistency. Some people aren't consistent at all. They're the type where they fucking they start fucking a certain girl or something and they get lazy. Like, yeah, a lot of people can't do this if they're the type where they can't stay consistent, wanting to go outside and do certain activities. Somebody asked in the chat though, like how to vet for sexual attraction. The way that I'm vetting through sex for sexual attraction is that I'm not even like you're. The problem with people not understanding like genuine desire and like chasing and stuff like that is, I think guys are the prize. Like, I think that a woman should always be going to the guy, and those are the best relationships, and that's genuine desire usually, unless she has BPD, obviously, or another cluster B disorder. But that's how you vet, is you make sure that she's coming to you. If you're sitting there like messaging the girl all the time, or you're the one who's like coming on to her, then I think that's a problem. I've always had girls come on to me. I'm not some super attractive fucking dude. Like, I'm pretty skinny and goofy looking until I started going to the gym. But I also wanted to ask you, Alex, if you had a response to what I said, but I wanted to go back at some point to what I said at the very beginning, my opening statement about how are guys trying to get sex or trying to get genuine desire?
Yeah,
Because I
we
think
could
that's two
definitely
different.
explore that. So just before I forget, so the response I had to what you're saying is, I think another problem with social circle game is you're entirely relying on your social circle, and you're relying on other people. Meaning, like, if your social circle, has attractive girls that are, if like your social circle is predominantly women and they're more social and they're introducing their friends, then yeah, you're in a great situation. If your social circle is like 80% dudes, and what the few women that are in the social circle are either taken or whatever, then you're completely reliant. Now, what you mentioned that you do is actually a fusion between social circle game and cold approach pickup, right? So you do know that you're not doing pure social circle game. You're doing a fusion combination, which is a better combination for someone who's not famous. But you would acknowledge that you're at
Break it
least.
down for me. I would like to understand like how you mean.
Yeah, so just pure social circle game is literally when you're meeting people through your social circle, right? You're talking about how you're using cold approach to meet new girls to get new leads, but then you're bringing them into your social circle. So you're combining cold approach with social circle game.
Well, yeah, well because I figured that cold approach is, like I said, something that both sides can do. It's just what's your intent. If your intent is when you walk up to the girl is I want to fuck you, like my goal is in the next couple of weeks, like get you in as a cold lead and then put you through, through everything, so then you can fuck her. Then that's one thing. But if you have the intention of just like, hey, what's up, girl? Like, what's your name? Like, blah blah blah. Like, or you could show
But
your
that's still Sergio. That's still cold approach. Cold approach is literally approaching a person that you don't know. That's still cold approach. You're talking about different intentions. That's all well and good.
Yeah, but so
You
that's
can
what I'm
do.
saying. Like
You,
pickup is the only difference. It's pickup, and then what I do, and we both do cold approach. Like both groups have to cold approach random people
well,
because
no,
cold
like
approach is something that you
Michael.
even got to do as a guy to other men.
Well, no,
Like
Michael Sartain and Dab Lazarian do like zero cold approach, right? Right. They're entirely meeting all the girls they're dating through their social circle. So
okay, yeah. Because I don't have the status that they do, so
exactly.
or like I don't leverage like the same type of status as them. Yeah, so
Yeah,
that makes
you
sense.
99.9% of guys don't have that luxury. So I do agree with you that for 99.9% of guys, the only way they can do social circle game is if they're doing something similar to what you're doing. The only other exception is if they're in like a very unique career, like they're a photographer, they're doing like bikini photo shoots, and they just have like massive access or whatever, or they're like running a porn company or something like
Kind
that.
of like what Michael's students do. Yeah, where they do the photo shoots and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, but
that's Michael's.
it wouldn't be just like a random guy who like does some photos here and there. I'm talking about like a professional photographer who's like very well connected in the model circle, right? That's I'm talking about, but those are all exceptions. That's not the average guy. So I do agree with you that for 99% of guys to do social circle game, they would have to do something along the lines of at least something similar to what you're doing. So okay, so we would agree that then it's a combination of cold approach and social circle, which is the I get prescription you would have for most guys. Now, in terms of pickup, I think that I guess we can use the word pickup differently, but to me, pickup never meant like you have to. Your main intention is to fuck the girl. That's always been my main intention. But I know guys in pickup whose main goal is finding a girlfriend. I know a lot. I've had countless students who are like, "Hey, Alex, I find your videos awesome, but I'm not trying to like fuck this girl like right away. I want to actually really meet like a wifey type of girl." In fact, when we do polls, even in my community, where most of my content is hookup oriented, uh, the vast majority of guys want a girlfriend over a hookup, right? So, yeah, that's so pickup doesn't necessarily need to be like casual sex. You do understand that distinction, right? Like you can have pickup. You can be a pickup artist without actually focusing on casual sex. Your main goal could be a relationship.
Yeah. So yeah, I see that, but it still does the same thing to me that really irks me more than anything. It's the same reason that I hate dating apps is because you're basically there's certain places that are just in the woman's strategy. One thing that's in the woman's strategy is a dating app. She gets to filter the men kind of on dating apps. I really think that even whenever a pickup guy, even in real life, if you're going up to her and you're not trying to get laid immediately, I think that that's like a flaw. Like you're going into the woman's frame. So I'm just immediately against it for those
Well, but
reasons
that's
alone.
exactly what you're doing. You're going up to the girls and you're not trying to sleep with them immediately. You're describing yourself.
But my intent is to just be friends. I have no intention of fucking this girl. So that's why I said at the very beginning when y'all were talking about like what y'all talking about, it's really about intent is the easiest way to put it.
No, I think it's more about. I mean, sure, intent matters, but I think it's more about strategy. We're kind of comparing different strategies, so as to speak. There's the pickup strategy, and there's a social circle game strategy, and there's some fusion of both. So it's like comparing like direct versus indirect. We're comparing strategies, less so motivations, I think. But like, let's say, let me kind of pose this question. Let's say you meet a hot girl that you really, really like, right? You cold approach her to do, your social circle game. But let's say she's fucking awesome. You're perfect 10 out of 10. Would you still friend zone her, or would you at that point try to either sleep with her or date her?
I have a belief that doing the immediate friend zone, even on super hot girls or even on a girl that like I actually kind of low key would fuck, like I would love to, I still think it's good to like I show intent immediately for random girls usually. Like it's like, hey, what's your number? And let's say like you ask that really upfront, like really quick, and they give it to you. You kind of already know like that they're like cool with you in a way just right then. But say she says no, it doesn't matter. Like you're acting like it's not a big deal at all. Like it's nothing to you. And
So
that
everything you're saying, I agree with, but we're talking past each other, talking about two different things. I do agree with you that having this "I don't give a fuck," I don't care what the outcome is mindset is a great thing, and that's what everyone should have. But I'm not even talking about a girl that you low key like. I'm talking about you. You approach a girl, right, and she's fucking. You're perfect physically, 10 out of 10. Personality, 10 out of 10. I don't know if your main goal is to get a girlfriend right now, or is it to just have casual sex? Like, which one of those is your main goal
Yeah,
ultimately?
no. So what I'm saying is like when you friend zone, like say she says no, or say she does give you her number, even if you friend zone her hard as fuck after she does that, some girls that makes them like you more. Some girls are like, oh, this guy just put me in the friend zone. I'm not playing that shit. I'm gonna show him I like him right now. It's a way of filtering. I don't like to play games with girls. So when you immediately frame shit how you want it to be framed, it makes them break through the fucking frame. It makes them like have to fucking come through your standards. And a lot of guys fuck themselves over because they end up with girls that they're kind of falling into instead of the girl falling into them. Like that is like my biggest problem with dating. Like when you look at every issue on Reddit or any relationship problems or any issues guys have, it is always frame. It is always not having genuine desire. It's always chasing. It's always being a fucking simp. So if these guys just instantly framed everything as "bitch, you're my fucking friend," then they're going to immediately filter for the girls that are like, "No, I don't want to be your friend. I like you as more than that."
Okay, but what you're doing is playing game. It's just a deliberate long game. You're just playing a different type of game than
It's
pickup platform.
manipulative. Yeah.
Well, no, I think that word is thrown a lot around a lot. It can mean anything and nothing. No, I think, but what you're doing is a game, right? You're not because the ultimate goal isn't for you to just purely be friends with a girl and that's it. The ultimate goal is to either hook up with her or date her later on, or I think it sounds more like use her
Or
to
fuck your friends. Be like, "Hey,
yeah, yeah,
buddy, like
yeah,
like like hook me up with your homegirl since you don't
yeah,
want to
yeah.
fuck me."
That is you are playing the game. You're just playing the game in a different way. So I don't think you can say that pickup involves playing game. You're not like they're just two different strategies to win the same game. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
so I think it's important to address that. And like again, a lot of the things you said, I do agree with you that like having that I don't give a fuck vibe is good. That some girls, if you friend zone them, yes, they will chase you harder. Like all of that is true. But once again, the question would be like in that rare scenario where you meet a girl who's like just like fucking hits every single button, would you still friend zone her just like out of principle, or at that point would you show intent? I know that if, for example, you're saying that well, she's not that interested, you can still friend zone her. Maybe that will change later. I get that. But let's say that's not the case. Let's say the girl is just interested right off the bat.
Dude, if the girl's coming on to you, you obviously don't be stupid. Like if she's breaking touch barriers, if she's giving you certain signs, you obviously don't be a retard. Like you lean into it. But I'm saying like if she's acting like completely to herself and stuff, and she's not showing any signs or anything, yeah, I'm not gonna do anything. Like I'm still going to completely friend zone the living fuck out of her and play mind games. Like
Yeah. So, like again, I think we're partially talking past each other, and because I do agree with a lot of things you're saying, I think I don't know, maybe like I'm not communicating my point succinctly, but yeah, sure. If a girl is playing games, you're saying don't chase, don't play those games, don't like pursue her aggressively. Instead, just friend zone her, and that's a different strategy to ideally get a better outcome, right? But you said that if a girl is showing you signs, lean into it. When you say lean into it, what do you mean? You mean like you're saying? I'm assuming what you're saying is no, don't friend zone her. Like actually, either hook up with her or date.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like actually try to mac a little bit if she's showing like signs, like obviously breaking touch barriers, or looking at you, or having a hard time to look at you. There's certain things that like I would pay attention for, and if she's showing me clear signs, then I will do something. But I don't think that most women. The biggest problem today is most women don't chase men. Like, let's be fucking honest here. Like, what you're waiting for, what you're filtering for, is rare by itself. Like, unless you're like a Chad to a girl or alpha, most of these girls don't like to pursue men. So you're kind of already filtering for something that's hard to get. But once you get it, it's worth it, and just a numbers game at that point.
Okay. Yeah, a few things I want to address there. So, first of all, yeah, sure, girls are more likely to chase Chads, but I'm not Chad, and I have girl. It just depends on like what level, I guess, what meets the threshold of the girl pursuing you. To me, when I meet a girl, like even when I'm doing street interviews, every time I go out and shoot a street interview, there's at least one girl who's like really interested in me that I approach out of the blue. So to me, that is a girl who's giving me really good eye contact. Maybe she's like kind of biting her lip a little bit. Maybe she's standing really close to you. Maybe she finds little reasons to touch your elbow. That happens to like average guys with good social skills fairly often. I think I do agree with you. It's not going to be the majority of girls, but that's not something that's uncommon. But at the end of the day, the majority of girls, like even if you're doing your strategy, you're not gonna. It's not gonna work in the majority, or you're not gonna want to do it in the majority of girls because, as you said, they're not the right type of girl. So both strategies involve looking for a smaller percentage of women in a sea, in a larger sea. You're kind of picking the best apples, so as to speak. But like, let's just for the sake of clarity refer to what you're describing as Sergio strategy, and let's refer to what I'm describing as just like general pickup strategy. It seems that even with the Sergio strategy of friend zoning girls, there's exceptions, and the exception is essentially if it's a girl you find attractive who's also showing that she's interested in you. Right? Is that correct assessment?
Yeah, I mean, I think anybody's who's had like a nightlife life for a certain amount of time has had the girl like make out with you at the bar or something stupid, or try to like kiss you at like random places. So yeah, like sometimes the girl's showing fucking mad intent right there off the bat, or like you see like she's staring at you, like what I'm talking about. Like sometimes there's a vibe right then. Yeah, I'm not saying ever just put a stop sign in front of the vibe. Like if you want to fucking have fun, have fun.
Okay, so there are yeah, the crux of it, there's exceptions to the general rule that you're following, right? Like as with Morris rules, but your exception is not that rare. It's just like a girl who's into you. Like if you're a guy who's really confident, has good social skills, and you're not like super ugly, that's gonna happen. Like not once in a blue moon, but it will actually happen like fairly often if you're out there socializing. Uh, Also, I want to ask you this question. So for the friend zoning approach you take, will you like, I guess, approach a girl who's like average looking and try to friend zone her, or are you only focusing on like girls that you find attractive?
Honestly, like I'm pretty like picky, so it would only be like the hottest girls that I can kind
Okay.
of see around.
So that's an important clarification. So now looks is not even part of the picture when it comes to determining whether you're going to friend zone the girl or try to sleep with her. The only thing that's part of the picture for you is whether the girl shows intent or not. So if the girl shows a lot of intent, then you're going to try to take her down right away. If she's not showing intent, then you're going to friend zone her. That's now the distinction becomes a bit bigger or smaller,
Because it
whichever.
sounds more like pickup than whenever you put it
Well,
like
yeah,
that.
it's just yeah, it's fusion between social circle and pickup. It really is.
But like the biggest thing though is I'm not going to clubs though and like doing pickup, like so. My biggest game personally was through Hooters. Like I would go to Hooters, and because I was friends with all the girls there, it's like it was like what's that quote in that movie? It's like I get older and they stay the same age. Like it was like there was always new
Dazed
girls
and
being hired.
Confused. One of my
Yeah,
favorite
dude,
movies.
it was like new 19, 20-year-old girls were being
The thing I
hired
like about them
every.
high school girls, I get older, they stay the same age. Like Jesus Christ, man, you're gonna get arrested. No, no, no.
Oh no, don't say it like
Classic.
that. You just did have to say the full quote. But no, it's something that it made it to where there was always new girls coming. always, and like the thing is, if I'm a regular, if I'm friends with all the girls there, if I'm friends with the manager and stuff like that, and a new girl comes and says, "Oh, who's that guy?" He's like, "Oh, that's Sergio. He's always here. He's one of our friends. Like we go out with him sometimes." Boom! Like you immediately went from like scary dude down here to I can trust this guy, and everybody says he's cool and nice, and he's not a scary person, and he's not going to hurt me, and he's actually, whatever. And
So
like that's the pro. And so like that new girl, that was the new. That's who I'm hitting on. I was basically always just waiting for like new hot girls to like get a job there, and it's like, okay, this is gonna be another easy one, another easy one, another easy one. Like it was really easy based off of that because of my friend group. It wasn't even like I went and cold approach girls all the time to get all the girls that I fucked over the last like decade.
yeah, so what you're talking about is what we call in the pickup community social proof. So basically, the venue where you go to, a lot of people know and like you, and you get social proof. That's something that, at least when I was actively doing pickup, was very heavily discussed. That was a big concept in pickup. So that right there is not a concept that's in any way anti-pickup. That's a pro pickup concept of utilizing social proof. Like literally, what like the biggest piece of advice when it came to pickup, or one of the big piece of advice was like, hey, when you take a girl on a date, take her to a place where everyone knows you, so then the waitresses and all of that, like, hey, oh hey, welcome back, right? And that raises your attractiveness because it's social proof. So that's a
Mhm.
pickup concept. It doesn't mean that you're doing pickup just because simply you're following that concept, but that's not like an anti-pickup concept. Also, I'm not sure where this idea comes from that like pickup is like something that's primarily done at clubs or whatever. I haven't been to a club in 10 years.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right.
Pickup can be done anywhere. It can be done during the daytime. It can be done if you're Matthew McConaughey. It can be done at a high school. But for most guys, it can be done during daytime. It can be done at a Hooters. It can be done anywhere. So like there's no like it's not like, oh, if you're into pickup you have to go to clubs. That's not a thing at all. So I think maybe this is a little bit of just like a lack of, I guess, understanding about the pickup community. But like a lot of the stuff that you're describing are things that the pickup community would talk about and encourage. They would talk about like, hey, go to where you feel the most comfortable. Hey, definitely utilize social proof as much as possible. So those are not, again, like an anti-pickup arguments. They're pro-pickup arguments.
Yeah, so like I would say almost everything spawned from pickup because of mystery and because of like how everything started with a dating. Like even evolutionary, like using evolutionary psychology to help get bitches. Like that was all fucking kind of started, from like the pickup community because it was like the first thing.
Well, it might have
So
originated from that, but it's no longer that thing. So, for example, your strategy of friend zoning girls, that's not a pickup strategy. Uh, that would be like the opposite of what a pickup community would teach. But the other
kind
stuff,
of like Michael, yeah.
yeah, yeah. But the other stuff that you're describing, social proof, going to where you feel comfortable, that's all pickup
But like if
concept.
I'm friend zoning all those girls at those places, is it I guess just a combination of the two? You would say.
You're using a fusion between pickup and social circle game.
Okay, and like but like my biggest thing is whenever we talk about this stuff, like I'm really big about talking about mate choice copying and like that just being the king of everything. Because like I said, it's just all about safety. These women don't feel safe, and there is a lot of fucking weird incel dudes today. So you can hack into their fucking little brain, just like how you can use their hypergamous nature against them. Like there's guys that will like wear Gucci and goofy ass shit to like fucking get a girl to be like, oh yeah, this guy he has money or he has a nice place, and they'll fuck him because they think that he has money. Like they're using hypergamy against them, and it's just like how some guys hack that thing. Shout out to AMS because he always talks about doing that. Um, uh, like I would say, I'm just hacking the other part of the brain that's mate choice copying, and like Michael Sartain does the same thing. I don't like the way that he does it, but that's all it is just hacking mate choice copying and hacking the girl's brain to look safe because
Okay.
most guys just aren't safe, man. Like I talk to these girls all the time that are because I'm friends with nothing but really beautiful girls, and they will give a guy a chance just because he's way more safe than the random people. It's weird.
Yeah, so pickup guys might not know that terminology of mate choice copying, but the actual premise of what you're talking about, that would be something that's actively discussed in the pickup community. Building comfort, making the girl feel safe, utilizing social proof to, I guess, hack the her feeling safe process, right? Like all of that are all like things that are big principles of pickup. The only thing that you're doing that is not that would be not in line with pickup values, let's just call it that, is the concept of friend zoning girls that that you find attractive to either ultimately have sex with them later or to meet their friends and blah blah. But even that, even if we go back, it's also there's different schools of pickup. But like I know RSD did used to talk about that. Like, yeah, I would just fucking friend zone girls that that I approached a girl, she was not into me, I would just friend zone her and then fuck her friends, right? That was something that was also even that, which I would say is like generally thought of as like the opposite of pickup, is something that was pretty actively and aggressively discussed in pickup, at least at one point in time. Again, I'm a little bit out of the pickup scene just because I'm not doing as much cold approach. I'm more focused on other shit. But yeah, so I think the distinction between let me clarify like this: the distinction between what you're doing and pickup is not a big distinction. You're just again, you're combining some elements of social circle game. But if you're doing pure social circle game, you would be, or just pure social circle, which we want to call it, you would only be meeting girls through people that you know. Like it purely be, you would not be cold approaching girls in order to get them into your friend zone. So you've kind of developed a fusion, which is I think a necessary fusion for guys who are not famous, because the only guys who have the luxury, like I said earlier, of essentially either having just new leads come to them, or or something along the lines of that, like basically doing what Dan Bilzerian does, is guys who are either famous or guys who are really just well connected in a very niche industry that's dominated by women, right? And that's again, it's a very small percentage of men. So I do like your strategy, generally speaking. And I think that if you are to do social circle game, it is necessary. But again, just to, I think it's an important point is that you're not relying on like pure social circle game. You're doing a fusion concept, fusion strategy, and there's a lot of elements that you're talking about which actually come from pickup, like social proof and all of that, making the girl feel safe. Like these are all pickup concepts.
Hmm.
So
No, so
maybe
what?
your idea what pickup is, I think what really is going on is that your idea what pickup is different than what pickup really is.
Yeah, no, and that's true because I'm new to all this shit, man. Like I never watched one dating thing until like a year and a half ago when I got into this space and I was watching Fresh and Fit. Like I never watched anything, so you have to school me on a lot of old school stuff since you've been in the industry a lot too. But no, so what do you think though about the love versus genuine desire, or like the genuine desire versus sex thing? Like because I truly think a lot of coaches, like it's good to help guys get into bed and just get sexual experience because you need to get that. But I just truly believe genuine desire is more important than anything else. What do you think?
Yeah, so I think it's a little bit of an oversimplistic paradigm, because anytime you have sex with a girl where she's not raped and you're not paying her money, there's some level of genuine desire. Now, and there's different levels of it, right? So, what level of genuine desire, what threshold of genuine desire are you trying to meet? Like, are you trying to meet the threshold of the girls, like the one who's like making the first move? Like, what's the threshold? Because again, anytime a guy has sex with a girl where she's not raped and he didn't pay her money, there's some level of genuine desire because otherwise she just wouldn't do it. So it's like, what's the threshold we're trying to meet?
Well, so like I would say where she wants to sleep with you on like the first date, where she's not trying to just make you into a beta bucks, where she just kind of takes, I would put the bar at that, which isn't that bad. I feel like.
Well, again, beta bucksing is the premise that you're paying the girl, and maybe more of a long-winded, indirect way, but still you're paying her.
Let's
Pickup would
say
be
multiple dates. Like if a guy goes on, like I've only took a couple girls like on 3 dates before in my life.
well, yeah, there's going to be some conservative girls who are just going to require more than one date. Like I think when you go past three, like I've never really gone past three, but yeah, like a lot of the girls I wanted dating, I had sex with on the second date. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Just some girls require a little bit of extra time. So I don't think like just because you had to wait an extra day to fuck a girl that inherently means that there's less genuine desire. I think that for
You didn't see a difference between that girl and the first night girls, personally?
Well, the biggest difference I saw between those girls I fucked on the first night and the second night was just kind of like how sexually conservative they were. So typically, the girls that I fucked on the second or third night, they were girls who had like single digits body count. They were more of like relationship girls. Like they weren't like, oh no, like have some one night stands girls. Whereas the girls I fucked on the first night, they were more comfortable with casual sex. So that's the biggest distinction I saw. There was definitely like I would say my girlfriend. I didn't have sex with her until the second date, but I definitely she was like obviously very attracted to me, which is why we were together like 4 years later. So I don't know necessarily. I think there probably is a correlation. I just don't think it's a strong correlation. I think the biggest factor that will determine whether the guy fucks the girl on the first date or the second date will be just kind of how sexually conservative she is. Now, I will say there will be a big distinction between a guy fucks on the second date and a guy fucks on the 10th date, right? That's when you get into much more iffy territory. But also really depends on what the date is, right? Is the date you just like taking her for a shopping spree? Yeah, you're definitely beta buxing. But you can have genuine desire from women just purely through cold approach without any type of beta buxing or going on like 7 different dates. All of
Oh
that is,
yeah, like just with a coffee date or a walk. Yeah.
yeah, or inviting her to a bar or yeah, anything along the lines of that. All of that is entirely possible.
See, and
Yeah,
that's see, so that's just like my biggest problem is that like whenever you meet somebody through a friend, like you meet a girl through her coworker, you meet a girl, just from like connection through another person, you're just it just feels like you don't even have to do like the warm up thing. Like whereas like a lot of people who do online dating or Instagram or anything like that, they got to do the warm up thing. It's like, hey, let's go for a walk, or hey, let's just go to get drinks, or like, hey, let's just go get coffee first. And I don't see that that's a thing that is even necessary. It's like if the girl is getting to the point where we're going on a date, she already knows about me. I kind of know about her. We probably kind of like talked about each
so
other or around their
I
friends for a couple
agree.
months.
Yeah, I agree with what
It's
you're
a
saying.
warm lead basically
Yes,
compared to a cold lead.
yes, I agree with you. A warm lead is more likely to sleep with you faster than a cold lead, but I don't think that has to do with genuine desire. I think that has to do with safety.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I will like my biggest thing is just filtering for that. So it makes it easier in my opinion to get it more often, and also to not just confuse yourself. Like if a guy just sits there and does what I call simping and just sits there and just keeps chasing girls
but
and
you know the
trying to
pickup,
get sex from
but you
women.
know the pickup community would be very against simping. Like simping is not something that has ever been encouraged in pickup.
So like I think that they're simping though by having to go talk to 1,000 girls or sending out 1,000 DMs and stuff. To me, that's simping because that's what kind of fuels this fire of these girls having this crazy ego. Is whenever they open up their phone and they see a 1,000 messages from a bunch of fucking dudes, or like they go and get 500 fucking likes on their picture of their ass
Yeah,
on
so
Instagram. Like
no,
fuck,
yeah,
like that's all simping.
no real pickup guy would ever tell you to send like 1,000 or even 100 or even 10 like unanswered texts to a girl in a row. I think
Well, no, no,
really,
no. I'm saying to a bunch of girls. Like I'm saying, it inflates these bitches' egos whenever they just open up their phone and they have 1,000 messages from 1,000 different guys. I'm not saying that, but he's just one part of the giant problem. Like the thing is, guys should be so fucking confident and think they're such fucking badasses that they don't even fucking pursue bitches. That they just live life. They got bitches around them that they're friends with, and bitches just come to them and land in their fucking lap.
yeah,
Like
Sergio,
that
that's
is
that's
the
I
whole issue with fucking dating today. And women need to know men are the fucking prize. I'm tired of this fucking world where like everybody thinks that women are the fucking prize. It's bullshit, bro. Like guys are the fucking prize. And like we need to put these bitches in fucking line. And that starts with guys like stop chasing the bitches in every way, shape, and form. Let them hoes come to us. They're hoes anyways. Why are you chasing fat girls? Why are they chasing old bitches? Like
okay.
why are they
There's
chasing
so
ugly girls?
yeah, there's so much you said. That was actually the most red pill I've ever heard you sound.
I'm sorry,
Fun,
dude.
fun little fact. No, you don't need to apologize for that. Okay, so much to unpack
I'm
here.
Spurgio. I'm Spurgio right now. I'm sorry.
So pickup guys would not be in favor of you chasing old girls or fat girls, or even chasing anyone. Really, I think. I guess it depends on what you define chasing. I don't consider like going like when you're out and about, going up and talking to some girls, chasing. Right? It's chasing if you're like constantly like, hey, can we meet up? Hey, oh yeah, I'll meet you 3 hours from your house. That's what chasing is. Like if you go out, you approach like a dozen girls and you get like 2 phone numbers and you message them. Maybe you have to double text here and there, and you set up a date and you sleep with her on the first or second date. That's not chasing. That's
It's
just
fine if he sleeps with them on the first or second date. The problem is a lot of these motherfuckers will take girls on 4, 5, 6, 7 dates to get the box. That's what bothers me. That's what bothers the fuck out of me, because that's what some of these bitches got, this crazy ass ego, and it's because there are a bunch of dudes that do that shit, that take them on do all types of stupid shit before they ever get smashed. If he does it within 1 or 2 dates, I don't think he's that big of a simp at all. Like, I agree with you 1,000%.
So yeah, what you're talking about is a kind of a different multifaceted issue. So 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 150 years ago, no one was really fucking on the first date. You
Yeah.
were, like, let's just go 30 years back. Most people were not having sex on the first date. They were having sex on the 5th or 10th or 11th date, or they're waiting for marriage. But girls' egos wasn't nearly as big as they are now, versus now more girls are likely to fuck on the first date. So that can't be it. I mean, I think the real culprit for that would be social media, and it's the validation that girls get when they're posting, their photos, and they're getting like 10,000 likes. So I don't think the number of dates is correlated to women nowadays having bigger egos. I just don't. I think that's a very overly simplistic way of looking at it. But really, it will boil down to social media, change in, I guess, how people view themselves, different cultural shifts. Not so much that guys are going on more dates, because again, guys today, on average, are going on less dates before sex than guys 50 years ago. That's just a fact. Like, when my dad met my mom, they didn't have sex, I think, for like months and months and months, right? So that was kind of the norm back then. And again, women's egos were smaller, so that can't be the thing that's driving up girls' egos, at least not to a significant degree. But that's kind of aside. What you said earlier is that, like, girls should be just coming to you. You should just be a guy living your life, and bitches come to you, right? Okay, yes, sure. In theory, ideally, that would be great. That would be awesome if that was the case. As a salesperson, it would be ideal if you're getting most of your sales from referrals. Like, you have so many happy customers that your customers are sending other customers to you, right? And as well, in those situations, you're likely to close faster, right? So if someone refers a lead to you, like, because their friend recommended you, it might take you 20 minutes to sell them instead of 2 hours, right? So that is ideal. It's just not practical at this point in time for most guys. I think guys can get to that point ultimately. It'll probably take at least a year of persistent effort, depends on where they're at socially and socioeconomically. But it's just not where most guys are at. If most guys just keep living their life and doing their thing, they're going to get a grand total of zero pussy. So it's just, you kind of have to, like, meet people where they're at. It's kind of like, also, like, I see, like, to kind of make an analogy, I see like Republicans who are like multimillionaires saying, "Well, I don't get it. Why don't you just pull yourself up by your bootstraps? Just start a business." It's like, motherfucker, this person literally can't feed their family. Like, you want them to start a business? You think they can drop $100,000 in a business? Like, so it's just like, you have to meet people where they're actually at, not where they should be at ideally, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, having this idealistic view is great, I guess, for theory discussions, but it's not actually great for helping people, because most guys are not at that place. You would agree that at this point in time, like, the vast majority of guys are not at that place where they can just live their life and bitches come to them.
Yeah, yeah, but they also don't have people that are like helping them, guide them to a mindset like this either, though. Like, the thing is, in the pickup community, or using pickup in general, it goes back to what I keep bringing up, the genuine desire versus just getting sex. Pickup is really good at getting sex. Like, it's very good. Like, and I know because I've done pickup in the past without knowing what pickup was. I used to do it. And the thing is, it's very easy, but it's usually fucking crazy bitches, or literally girls that are like whores that you would never want to fucking take seriously.
I
So
don't know where you're getting this characterization of pickup from. I
dude,
really don't, because
I've never got a good girl from pickup or a dating app in my entire fucking life. Ever.
yeah,
Ever.
I'm just, me and all my friends have had a totally different experience. I met my girlfriend on a dating app. The girl before that I met through cold approach. The girlfriend before that I met on dating app. The girlfriend before that I met on dating app. And the first girlfriend ever, girlfriend number one, lucky number one, I met through cold approach at a bar. So every single one of those is great girls. They're all awesome human beings who never betrayed me or anything like that. So I would speak very, very highly of every single one of my exes. And they were all ones I met either through cold approach or dating apps. So these girls exist, and there's a lot of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, like I mean, we're the same, bro. I would say the same for like I've lived with 5 different girls. Like I had good, serious relationships with girls, but I met them all through like real life and stuff like that, or through like the social circle stuff. My biggest thing though is like I said, I don't want guys wasting their time fucking hoes. Like there's a lot of fucking hoes that you could just kind of run through when you're doing pickup. And they're not gonna mean anything to you. The thing is, whenever you meet a random fucking person, it doesn't hurt you to fuck them and leave. And you know what? Nobody's gonna know if you fuck a fat girl on that cold Thursday. Nobody's gonna know about that fat girl on fucking on
Wait,
Tinder or
what's the
anything.
issue with a
So
guy having a one night stand with a hot slut? Like a
because
hot.
stop fucking validating these fat bitches and these old
No, no.
bitches
Why do
and
you
these
keep saying
fucking
fat? I'm not talking about fat
because
girls. I'm
usually
talking
when
about
these
hot
guys
girls.
do it, dude, most guys don't get pussy, bro. So whenever these fucking normie dudes do fucking get some pussy and it's a random night, they're getting desperate and going and fucking that fat girl or something. Like it's ridiculous. Like these bitches
There's
have a
some.
huge inflated egos and we got to pop that balloon. It's bullshit.
Okay, first of all, you and I are not going to pop any balloon. This is a massive fucking social trend. This would be like me and you thinking, you know what? We're going to end MAGA. People are becoming too extremists. We're going to get people out of MAGA by talking reason and logic to them. That's not going to happen. So what you're describing is literally an impossible standard for any content creator or any group of content creators. So let's say every single person pick up red pill, black pill gets together and they're like, you know what? We want to deflate these hoes' egos. We'll make less than a 0.001% difference. Because again, there's a lot more to than what you're describing. But yeah, sure, some guys fuck fat girls. I won't deny that. I think that some guys fuck fat girls through their social circle as well. But that's like, let's assume the girl is attractive. Like, what's the issue with having casual sex, assuming you're wearing a condom, with a girl with an attractive slut?
Because it's like I said, I don't like having sex with girls. Like I've done it, like I'm not proud of it, but I don't like having, like I even regret it. You're a lot, guys are liars if they fuck those type of girls and they don't fucking regret it afterwards. I've always regretted it.
Well,
Like
no, but you're trying to apply the way you view the world to other people. Like, sure, you might
I've
not like
talked
it.
to a lot of guys, and I think most guys fuck that type of pussy out of desperation. Just like how most guys don't cheat because they can't fucking cheat if they wanted to, but then they'll be like, "Oh, but I would never fucking cheat." It's like, bitch, you would never. You don't get the option to cheat anyways, and you're sitting here saying that shit. It's the same
Well,
thing.
like this is like me saying, well, I don't really like, I don't know, let's take Hungarian food, so therefore no one likes Hungarian food, right? Like it just it doesn't equate. No, there's fucking people who like that shit. God knows who they are because Hungarian food fucking sucks. But
Dude, if you had a dude line up 10 fucking bitches that are all hot as fuck, and one of them's fucking fat or something, or like half of them are fucking fat, that dude would never
wait, well,
fucking
I
take
don't
the
know
fat.
why you keep talking about fat girls. We're talking about different things. Forget about fat girls. Just forget about fat girls. We're talking about attractive girls. Let's say and we're talking about hot girls who are slutty. Their body count is 100 plus, right? But they're very attractive. So what's the issue with a guy if he's looking for casual sex, having sex with one of them? I know you might regret it, but what if that guy doesn't regret it? Because I've had sex with a lot of hot sluts. I've never regretted it. I have no regrets about that at all.
I mean, if it's a hot slut, I think that's fine. Like I think that if you earn like one of those girls that's worth it, that's totally fine. It's whenever they validate. I hate these bitches running around that are fat as fuck, and or they would come on my podcast or come on these podcasts, and they're like, "I'm a 10. I can
So
get
yeah,
dude,
so
I
it's
can get a
not.
guy that looks like this, or whatever." It's like, dude, the reason why they act like that is because there really is a dude who's like a 9 or 10 smashing that bitch, and that's dude. Like, come on, like
So
that
it
dude is
sounds
the
like what you really
problem.
hate is guys fucking entitled fat girls. That's really what it comes down to. It has
And
nothing.
old old bitches too. I hate
Okay,
bitches that
sure,
are post wall who sit
and
there and
old,
think they're the
yeah,
fucking
okay,
shit.
okay,
Like,
old ladies and fat girls, but it
yeah,
seems like it has nothing to do with the
dude.
girl's
You
sluttiness.
if you're a guy
It's
who
the other
fucks a
person.
girl who's older than you, or you're a guy who fucks a girl who weighs more than you, you're a fucking simp beta bitch. I'm sorry. That's just what I believe.
Um,
Sorry.
Fatter than you, yes, unless you have like a fetish that really gets you off. But
I don't promote fetishes, man. If somebody wants to go fuck like with a fucking a dog outfit on, like that's on them. I don't like fetishes. That's stupid.
yeah,
I don't
well,
like anime either, so it's
I'm,
just weird.
yeah, I'm not into anime either, but I'm not gonna like demonize people who like anime. Like there's things that we can like there's things that I'm not into that I can would also demonize. Like for example, racism or like supporting like war crimes or something along the lines of that, right? But then there's also a lot of things that I'm not into that I would not demonize because they're not objectively harmful. Like anime would be a perfect example of that. I don't fucking understand the point of anime. It seems kind of gay to me, but I or gambling, right? Not something that ever appealed to me, but I wouldn't demonize it. At
I
least
think
not.
shame is a great thing, dude. Like shame is the greatest thing for all of history to keep people in line. Like
It really is.
I
It
don't like this
really is.
society of like shaming shame. Like, come on, we should be shaming the fuck out of people that are losers. That's what gets them back in. Dude, my best friends are my friends that shame the fuck out of me the most. Like that is
Yeah,
life.
sure. Sometimes I think it can work, but I think a lot of the time when you shame people who are in a bad situation, who are in need of something, you just push them further away and you make them more extreme. I think the reason we have a lot of black pillars is because they were shamed, right, by some maybe by people on the internet, maybe by their friends, blah blah blah, and they went to like all these extremes. So I don't think it's. I think maybe there's a time and place for a little bit of shame, sure, but I think that shame in general is not a good strategy for improving people's lives. It's just not. I think that the way to do that would be through a combination of empathy and tough love. And practical guidance, right? That it's not going to be through entirely shaming. Like I would just like if I had a coaching client and he was like really struggling to get girls, and the only girls he could get are these fat bitches that you describe. My approach wouldn't be like, dude, what are you fucking simp? You're fucking fat bitches, dude. That's pathetic, right? That's fucking sad, dude. What has your life come to? Like that would never work as a coaching as a coaching as a coach myself. The way I would go about that would be like, okay, well, is this where you want to be in life? No, I don't. Okay, so here's how we're going to get to the point where you want to be, and this is what you're going to have to do. And if they're delusional about something, then I would give them some tough love. Be like, hang on, dude, you're way off here. Like your assessment of yourself is completely bonkers, right? So, but yeah, shame is just not an effective way to coach and guide people. But again, that's a little bit of an aside. Um, it's
Even coaching guys, I make it very clear that I help guys get genuine desire. And if you want genuine desire from a fat girl, I will help you get it from a fat girl. But 9 times out of 10, they're not trying to date. They're not trying, like,
no,
I'm
no
trying
one's
to help
trying.
them get into a relationship, not just fuck girls. And the thing is, you learn way more about sex, you learn way more about women, you learn way more about relationships being in a relationship with a girl that has genuine desire with you, not from you sitting there and just fucking fat girls. Like you're not learning anything from that. A lot of people like to think that, oh, fucking this girl like every few weeks makes you learn so much. It doesn't at all. Like
Bro,
that
it
doesn't teach
seems like
anything.
we're literally obsessed with the idea of fucking fat girls. Like you bring it up every time.
Yeah, because I hate fat bitches, bro. Like I
Okay,
really do.
I agree with you. I think it's kind of sad if you fuck fat girls too, right? We're in agreement on about that. We don't have to like keep bringing it up. Like no one, like 99.9% of people aren't sitting there saying, you know what? I think fucking fat bitch is a good thing. You know, this is something we should encourage. So I don't feel the need to like kind of keep rehashing that battle that's not even being had. But the question I was going to ask you is, you kind of lost. I kind of lost my train of thought with all the fat bitches talk. You were telling me some. Oh, genuine desire. So how? Okay, how would you have sex with a girl on the first or second date, assuming there's no money involved, without some level of genuine desire?
No, I definitely, that's why I'm saying you have to have sex with her by the first or second date for it to be genuine desire. Like I would agree with that statement.
So, but that's what the pickup community is pushing and encouraging.
Yeah, I guess we agree on that. But the only difference is that I think a lot of guys that do pick up, or a lot of guys that do what I call simping, giving their money, energy, attention, and time to these girls by liking their pictures and
But
taking
simping
them on
is
multiple.
discouraged in
Like
pickup.
my big flaw is when they go on multiple dates. Like if a guy learns pickup. And then through his pickup, like I know lots of guys who use dating apps and use pickup and use red pill shit. And bro, they will chase some fucking tail for fucking weeks. They will go on multiple dates. They will end up paying, a solid $1,000 for this bitch's pussy when they get it, and then they'll stop talking to her after that. They just fucking did it just to try to either put her on rotation or just to get the hit at least one time. And it's like that's ridiculous. Like I think that's ridiculous. Like that's a normal thing to. I have a bunch of friends that are very big right pillars or do the normal pickup techniques or use dating apps, and that's what they all do. And it's like, dude, that is ridiculous. I think that that's like a huge uneven investment, and that's what I don't like about it. And
Sure.
if we try to correct that balance, I just believe it would kind of fix the world a little bit. Like I kind of preach some stupid shit that's kind of religious or trying to make the world better. I'm sorry, I have like a really optimistic hope for the future, and I believe in trying to make it better by saying certain things.
Yeah, so I think the way you view pickup, potentially the pickup community, is a bunch of guys like we're sitting around talking. Yo, man. So here's how we get the fat bitches, okay? And what we're gonna
I
do is
just have friends who do pickup, bro, and do dating apps, and I'm just going based off of their anecdote, like watching my friends do it. Because I argue with them all the time about social circle stuff. Some of them are converting and doing social circle game in Dallas, and they're super successful right now. They're going to be making their own coaching programs
well,
probably soon. And I'm going to be helping them because they're doing so good at it.
there's also guys doing social circle game who do literally the same shit. They spend a bunch of money and time on a girl. So that can happen in both communities. But the pickup community would actively go against that. They would say, no, don't simp. You don't overinvest in the girl. So again, what you're describing is perfectly in line with what the pickup community would say. Like the pickup community is not encouraging guys to simp. That's just like a weird misconception.
What I'm trying to say is it gets them in the habit of just wanting sex. Like, don't get me wrong. You said that you have some clients that are like, hey, I want a relationship though, and I want these things. If they're doing that, like it's still not helping them because you need to be teaching them like, hey, but that making the girl or the girl making you wait, you're gonna end up in her frame. You're gonna end up in a bad relationship. Like you like basically because of how pickup is set up, or even dating courses from a pickup guy, you're trying to give them the exact solution, exactly what they want. And that's not always what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give them what I think is best for them, which is, do something that gets the girl in your frame, or stop fucking just having sex. Whereas y'all really do push just having sex, getting practice through sex. I've heard that a lot. I've heard that from a lot of pickup coaches. Maybe you're not one of them, but from any other like red pill or pickup guy I've heard, it's you need to kind of get sex and talk to 1,000 girls type of thing.
Yeah. So no, I would encourage guys to get sexual experience for sure. I had sex with like at least 10 girls before I was in my first relationship. I think that if you're someone who's very fresh to the game, you're not familiar with women, I think going out there and getting some sexual experience and seducing some girls is a good thing for the majority of guys if their goal is to ultimately improve their social skills. That's not to say, though, that I would encourage those guys to simp or lower their standards. Those two are very different things. You can have casual sex with like a dozen or 2 dozen or 3 dozen girls without simping or lowering your standards and fucking these fat bitches.
Would you agree that it's really easy for guys, though, especially guys who don't get sex easily, to fall into the trap of doing stupid shit for sex?
Um, when you say stupid shit, you mean like spending a lot of money on the girl?
Yeah, just doing all types of just dorky shit. Like, I mean, you can control your like your students pretty well with text messages from saying something too stupid in the text point. But even in real life, they can say something dumb, like whenever you're not there to be able to whisper in their ear or something like that. Like, would you say that very easily they'll slip up and say or do something because they're just kind of horny?
So okay, so we need to like you're saying like on one thing I think what you're trying to say is guys like starting to simp or something along the
Yes,
lines
I'm
of
saying like most guys are going to accidentally end up simping just for sex. And like that's why the whole reason why I teach what I do and everything, that the whole style of doing it is to make sure that you're not sitting there trying to get sex, and
yeah,
that you're getting the girls, because I truly believe that everything in life, if you want to be successful at anything, you have to just not focus on sex at all. You have to not focus on women at all. You focus on your purpose. You focus on like whatever like you're doing to make money, and as long as you're being social while you do it, the woman in your life, like it's like there's something that everybody thinks whenever they're growing up. It's like, oh, like the right girl, like she'll come to me at the right time. That the only way that is ever true is when you're doing social circle game correctly and you're out there socializing and stuff. Whenever you're sitting there doing the thing where you're pursuing girls, you're cold approaching over and over and over again or whatever, you're constantly kind of looking for love, or you're kind of chasing sex. And I just think that is the problem with dating. Like it's like a weird habit. It's really hard for me to put it into words, but it's like whenever a guy thinks he's like the prize and he steps back and thinks he's a fucking king, and he doesn't fucking let women take it or like pull him in any directions, and any woman is just kind of coming into his life, it's just a whole different vibe. Like it's literally a whole different thing. And it's so hard for me to like put it into words because nobody talks about this shit really.
yeah. Well, so first of all, that is discussed in the pickup community. I agree that most guys probably wind up simping to a certain extent, but again, the pickup community would combat against that. Like, if you were to write a report in a pickup forum saying, like, "Hey, I was really horny. So then I took, I bought this girl a bunch of shit and blah, 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 and blah, blah. You wouldn't get a bunch of people saying like, yo, good job, man. You get people saying like, dude, like, why would you do that? Like, that's fucking cringy. So the pickup community actively combats that, I think, or at least the majority of it. In terms of the other thing that you said, I think like a lot of this kind of a lot of the stuff you're saying comes from like a misunderstanding what the pickup community promotes and teaches, or at least what the majority of it promotes and teaches. In terms of what you said, focus on your purpose, and like kind of like the girls will come to you. Sure, if you are part of a small percentage of men, but Dan Bilzerian, who would be the most well-known social circle game guy, literally says that he started off by doing pickup, right? So yeah, sure. Ultimately, that would be a nice end goal, but that's not where most people are at. If most guys who are not getting laid just focus on themselves, focus on their purpose, then they'll continue not getting laid. What they have to do is actually actively go out there, force themselves to go out there and develop much better social skills, much better social intuition, start getting some leads coming in, start getting some experience, get into positive momentum, blah, blah, blah. And then they can kind of pull back a little bit and take a more like, I'm going to focus on my shit type of approach. This is literally me. Like when I first started pickup, I was very much actively going out and like just actively like, trying to hit up leads, right? And then as I got better and better, I kind of just like started focusing more on my own shit, and I was still able to get like somewhat similar results, right? But again, that's a end goal. That's not a starting point for the majority of guys.
Yeah, so it's a good analogy to do the sales stuff because, and even this, cold leads fucking suck. Cold calling fucking sucks. Numbers are fucking horrible in that shit. Because I mean, especially you're trying to do it the girls' way. Shit, they're getting thousands of DMs from all different places if it's a hot girl or something. So I really think that just cold outreach is trash. Like at the end of the day, that's like my biggest preaching is that it's just like cold outreach is trash,
But
and
that's what we
everything
do.
that PUA does is cold outreach, and all I'm doing is I'm doing only warm outreach.
Well, no,
It's hacking status.
that's not true because you're cold approaching girls in order to friend zone them. That's
But like
stupid.
I was telling you from my personal experience, like that's something that you do to constantly have leads coming in and constantly be growing your circle because it's not good to just be
Right.
stagnant and just
So,
have
so
like
you're
one
doing
circle at one
so
place.
you're doing
But for
cold.
the most part, I didn't do that though. Like I would only do that when I went out with the girls I was already with. So say I go out with my group of friends that are girls, I'm gonna go to other tables and go or go talk to other girls in the bar or club or whatever and see if they want to come over to our table and be with us. But that's only because I'm out with my group of girls that I have from the place that I got my group of girls from.
Sure, but again, like I don't know
So
what the
but basically what I'm saying is the main point is still the social circle that was built before that never even happened with a cold approach.
but you literally just said that you need to keep doing cold approach to replenish the leads. So you are relying on cold outreach. The thing that you say you hate, you're actively doing yourself. Maybe doing 20% of the time, maybe doing 50% of the time.
It would be like way less. Like I'm talking, it'd be like 5% of the time or 10% of the time when you're out with those girls that you already have the original soul circle with. That's why it's such a small percentage.
Okay,
Like
so
it's actually a
you're
really small. Yeah, like I'm thinking through my head right now, bro, and we're talking super small number of girls that I've gotten while I'm out with my groups of girls. Like most of the girls who I've fucked or like been around or got anything from, it's been the girls from my original social circle.
right, but so okay, you're walking down the street, you see a perfect 10. You're telling me you wouldn't like approach her?
I mean, me personally, I wouldn't just sit there and encourage dudes to do it,
No,
honestly,
well,
because it's really hard.
what would you
It's really
personally?
hard to get that girl to be like your friend. Now, if you just feel like being fucking cocky and you think you're gonna fuck, then go ahead, have fun. But I wouldn't sit there and try to make it like a necessity to friend zone this girl because the whole friend zoning, the really hot girl thing
We're not
works a
talking
lot
about that.
easier.
We're not even talking about that level of it. We're just talking whether you approach the girl or you let her walk by.
I don't like cold, bro. So I'm gonna be straight up. I don't like things that are cold. Like even whenever it comes to a really hot girl, I really like having some. Even just building rapport by going somewhere often. Like using like what did you say was the word social
Proof.
so yeah, social proof. That's like the easiest way to just starting a friendship with somebody. So even then, no, I honestly I don't want to limit the guys. Like I would tell a guy, go ahead and fucking back on her if you want, but I wouldn't make it part of my program for a guy to go and walk up to every random girl, even on the street. That's a
I'm
10.
not talking about the advice you would give to other guys. I'm talking you personally. I know you don't like it, But again, you see a perfect 10 walking down the street. You got like 20 minutes where you're not doing shit. Would you go up and talk to her or not?
Bro, I'm a cocky ass fucking dude who thinks he's the top G. So I would probably do it because
Okay.
I fucking think I'm the shit. But I wouldn't tell other guys to do that shit though. Honestly. I
Well,
don't think it's really like worth their time unless they're like really attractive or something.
but you've just said earlier that you're not very attractive.
Yeah, but I'm a cocky ass motherfucker and you can get bitches just for fucking being cocky. Like
Okay. What's to stop other guys from becoming more cocky?
they don't have the confidence because they don't have confidence. They don't have confidence because they haven't accomplished anything.
All right. So how do they get more competence? Going
They
out?
gotta accomplish more shit. And that's either by fucking more bitches or making some money, starting a business,
Well, the starting a business or
kicking ass in the gym or going to the fucking boxing ring.
yeah. So
You can get accomplishments in many different ways. Winning tournaments in a game or something, doing something that
yeah.
makes you
So you
badass.
would get competence with women through being successful with women, right? You wouldn't get competence. So I don't know what
No,
type
I
of
think that you can get confidence just from being good at anything. I know dudes that are fucking dorks, but they're the best at certain things that they do, and it makes them feel like a top G, and they still got bitches because of it.
unless they're famous. I can't count how many rich people I know who absolutely fucking suck with girls. These dudes are multimillionaires,
Oh,
and they're
because it's not always money; it's just being the best at something. That's why I was saying it's just being really competent at something. It's not always
okay.
money for sure.
Yeah, there's a bunch of dudes who are really competent in like World of Warcraft or chess, but I doubt they're fucking drowning in bitches.
If he's like one of the number one players in fucking chess or in World of Warcraft, he is.
You think so? Really?
Yeah, I think if
Why,
somebody's
why,
like one of the best at something, they'll definitely get bitches for it. Did you see it in the big video game terms for League of Legends, fucking Dota? Like all those number one teams and players like fucking got bitches. And
I,
that look like dorks sometimes too. Look at the
I
best
don't
Twitch
know much.
streamers,
I
like
don't
the
know much.
biggest, dorkiest Twitch streamers. Even some of they got fucking bitches, dude.
Yeah, I don't know much about the sex life of these fucking.
Shit, your best friend Destiny got fucking. Oh wait, never mind. Oh that didn't
Well, Destiny
fucking
has
failed.
quite good social skills. He
Yeah,
really
no.
does. He can be charming, charismatic. He can make a girl laugh. He can seduce girls. He can build sexual tension. He knows how to handle shit tests. That combined with status definitely gives him a big advantage. But Destiny is not, while he may look a little dorky, he's not socially awkward by any stretch. He has well above average social skills. So, yeah.
Oh
So,
yeah, but like even fucking like I can't think of his name right now. Like XQC, like I'm pretty sure he has a girlfriend. Like that dude's fucking weird. That's like the weirdest French Canadian dude on the internet.
never met him in person. But yeah, I guess sure he seems kind of awkward online. He's also famous, so fame can accommodate can compensate for a lot of poor social skills. But if we just take fame aside, just completely forget about fame. We're just talking about pure competence. I think that if you have poor social skills, no amount of competence in something like business or video games is going to truly make up for that if we're taking fame aside. You need to, if you want to get better results with dating, you need to improve your social skills. There's just really no if, ands, or buts about it, or become famous.
And nothing gets your social skills up like being around a bunch of women all the fucking time.
But
Like literally
how do you
all the
get
time as much as you can.
but
There's nothing that beats that.
how do you get yourself to a point where you can be around this woman? You have to cold approach them.
Once you get into a group, it's really not hard at all. Like it's just building rapport by going somewhere and doing something with the same group over and over and over again. It could be volleyball, whatever the fuck somebody wants to do.
Well, no, it won't. How can it work if your social circle is 70% guys?
Then you do, like that's why you go to places. The entire point of what I teach is because people don't have the outer game to know where to go and when to go. Like that's it. That it's really that's the hardest part of everything. Because if you were a woman that was single, you would want to go to male dominated environments to get a guy because you don't want to be somewhere where there's a shit ton of fucking bitches there like outnumbering you and competing. That's stupid. So for guys it's the same. Like you don't want to go somewhere that's a male dominated environment because you have more men that you're competing with in that room. So like if you go to female dominated environments, you do get to be around a lot of bitches.
Okay,
Really
so once again, let's assume you're like the average guy and your social circle is like 70, 80% dudes. So are you like when you say go somewhere, what do you mean? Like where are you gonna go? Or,
You can
or
go to restaurants. You can go to. I have a hobby. Here, hold on. I got my list right here.
okay, so you're okay. Let's just again. So you have 10 friends. 70% of them are guys. So it's six other guys and two or three girls. So you go to a restaurant.
I
Okay,
have the Michael Sartain approach, and it's not good to do it with multiple other dudes, man. Like he teaches this also. Other guys fuck up your game. Like you can't do any of the social circle stuff with dudes. Like
but
everything
then,
I did, it was always just me with the girls.
but then
Maybe one other guy can come, but it usually ruins everything because all they gotta do is say one simp thing or fucking act cringe in one fucking way, and then like it fucks it up for you.
but that removes the vast majority of guys who have a social circle because most
They
guys.
don't. That's the coolest part about this is you don't even have to have a social circle. You can start doing what I say to do just by yourself. But for some reason it's so weird today to go eat by yourself somewhere or
But
go do
when you're
something by
eating,
yourself.
okay, when you're eating at a restaurant by yourself, okay, girls aren't going to come to you. You're going to have to go up and cold approach those girls.
No, I hang out with the waitresses, bro.
Okay, how
I
are you?
literally like that. No, I don't go up to anybody in there.
Okay, so okay, you're eating alone at a restaurant, and you're friends with the waitress. Okay, what happens next?
You go at certain hours, outer game. You go at certain times when they're bored and they got nothing to do, and all the girls will come and hang out at your table because you're the cool young guy that's not like one of the other 60-year-old regulars that's weird as fuck.
Okay, you're talking about waitresses will come and hang out with you. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's who you friend zone are those girls. You're friends with them, not girls that are going to Hooters.
But then
Girls don't go to Hooters.
you're just limited to literally nightlife staff then, just waitresses.
No, it's daytime is when you go. You go in between the hours of 2 to 5. You would never want to do this at nighttime. You could still do it at night, but it's not going to be nearly
Once
as
again,
good.
you're still limited yourself to girls who are working.
Yeah, because there's a lot of girls that are really pretty that work at Hooters during those time periods at
Okay.
any restaurant.
But in order for you to be one of those guys that the girl actually is genuinely interested and gives you her phone number, just being a young guy sitting there at the right time isn't going to do the trick.
It's building rapport. So what that means is like going and talking to the manager, taking care of like the main bartender, the number one bartender, or like the prettiest person. You just build rapport. It's really not that hard to be friends with somebody and not be a scumbag and give a fucking $3 tip. Like you just do things that are better than the normal person.
Well,
People like it.
there's a lot of guys who will go to Hooters at the right time and give generous tips, but they still don't want to.
It's about building rapport and being consistent. You can't just do it one time and be like, "Oh, why is nobody my friend?" No, you do that for a fucking long period of time, then you get a lot. My best friend, that was the girl that like got me into going up there. This girl was friends with like literally like 50 regulars there, dude. She would do stuff where she would buy the calendars herself, give the calendars to free to her regulars, and then I have coupons for them because the calendars all come with coupons. And then she would just fucking give them half off, give them free wings, all this type of shit, and they would be tipping her better and stuff. They're very social. Like everything is very much based around an environment of consistency and having regulars and stuff. And if you're not like those old weird dudes, you're treated way fucking different. They hang out with those guys all the fucking time. Most of the girls that are my friends up at Hooters go to the casino like every month with some simp dude that's like, "Hey, you want to go up to the Oklahoma casino? Like, let's go this weekend. I'll give you all $500 to play with." They pocket like $300 or $400 of that shit and only play with like $100 of it. Like, like these girls are all chilling as fuck, and they finesse a bunch of dudes, and then there's some dudes they're cool with, and you just want to be the guy that they're cool with, and they tell all the fucking dirty secrets to.
Okay, so right, but what you're describing is a big time investment. You're saying go there regularly, often, chat those girls up, put the time in, put the consistency in, give them good tips. How's that any different
It's
than
gonna take 3 to 6 months just to get like your first like girl that you're gonna fuck
how,
like by
how,
far.
how's that different than a guy taking 4 or 5 days to sleep with a girl?
Because you're not your intent. It's all about intent. If your intent is to literally try, if you're just being altruistic and you're literally just going and hanging out with people that are your friends and you're not sitting there overdoing it like crazy,
They're not your
then it's not the same.
friends. You're
Yes, they are your friends. These girls are all my friends. If I needed them right now, I could text them and
No,
say, "Hey,
they might be your friends now, but when you first start going to Hooters, the girls are not your friends right away. For a while, you're just a guy they're trying to get as much money from as possible until you transition to become their
no,
friends. But
it's
you
very
don't start off
simple."
being their friends.
it's very simple to not the barrier between the simp and like the normal dude is fucking massive. Like it's massive. It's not like a little line. It's very easy to look like the guy that's not the simp. If you just don't give them money, if you just don't like offer all types of stupid shit, if
But
you
you're
just
talking about, but you literally, we said earlier, is like you give generous tips.
dude, that's like it's not even like a crazy generous tip. Like you're just doing the tab. If your tab is $10 or $15 and you do double the tab, you're like way better than everybody other person, and all you spent was $20 or $30.
Right. And if
Like
you're
it's not
doing that,
that big of a
yeah.
deal.
If you, so, first of all, you're not going to go Hooters and spend $10 unless you order like one beer.
If you just get a beer or two, yeah, you will. Or if you just get some fried pickles and a drink, then yeah, like that
Okay,
might
sure.
be it.
You order the bare minimum, but if you're doing that for 6 months, that's going to add up to hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I just don't see how that's different in any way.
Because you're building a relationship with multiple girls, and like I said, you can either do what you do to get sex, or you can do what I do to get genuine desire. There's a huge difference. It's not the same thing at
You
all.
can. I don't know why you think that you can't get genuine desire. Uh,
You're way less likely to get it when you're chasing a girl. All those forms of fashion that you talk about in dating are all the ways where it's going into the girl's frame. You're
why do
going
you think?
into her
Wait,
power.
you think that showing up at Hooters day after day and doubling the tip is not playing into the girl's frame?
Not at all, because I don't want to fuck that girl. You want to fuck that girl. Your intent. It's all about intent. If your
Frame.
intent is to try to fuck a girl, then you're basically that girl's a like basically prostitution almost at that point. Whereas if
No.
I'm literally giving a girl a tip that I would give to any other place that I go eat at, any other restaurant I go to, and any other bar I go to, the only difference between me and other people is I only go to the same place often. I don't ever go to
Okay,
random
so
restaurants.
If Hooters
Ever
just
go to a random restaurant. I go to places where I build rapport, even if it's not Hooters, even if it's any other type of restaurant. I'm going to go to the same place over and over again to build rapport.
okay, so let's say Hooters starts employing only fat girls. Are you telling me you're still going to show up just to be friends with them and double the tip?
Great point. That's a great point. So Hooters actually has a program where they give the girls a gym membership as soon as they start seeing them gain some weight. So I don't got to worry about that there.
It's a hypothetical. Let's
I was
say
just saying it'll never happen because they have a whole program set up for fat girls not to be able to work there.
I've seen some really busted girls at Hooters. At least
Oh yeah, I've seen some too, and they'll get the talk. Trust me, they'll get the talk.
okay, like once again, like let's just assume that Hooters becomes really PC, and they're like, you know what, we need to buck the
Good
stereotype.
question.
Let's say they get some. Wait, let me just finish. Let's say they get some bad publicity, and let's say they only start hiring girls who are overweight, and they don't give them that complimentary gym membership. Are you still telling me you're going to go there out of the kindness of your hearts, spend 6 months to build relationships there, give double the tip? Are you still going to do that? Because I don't think the
No,
answer.
no, no. So this is the best part. There's multiple places like this. You can go to Knockouts. You can go to Wild Pitch. You can go to fucking
Right,
Ojos
but you're making
Locos.
it
You can
seem
go to Twin Peaks. Like, which one you want to go to, buddy?
right, but
Like Bombshells.
okay, sure, but you're making it seem like you have like a pure motive. Your motive is like just purely just to be like
Just to
happy.
be friends with the hottest bitches you can fucking find. Yes, yes. Go
Why?
be friends with
Why
as
do you want
many
to be
hot
friends? Why do you ultimately want to be friends with the hottest bitches? Why?
because hot bitches have hot friends and hot girls don't use dating apps. If they
Okay,
do use
so
dating apps, they're fucking whores,
why
dude.
do you want to
The
be friends?
hottest girls only meet guys through social circles. And I know because I'm friends with some of the baddest bitches in Dallas and they've never used a dating app in their life. Ever.
Why do you want? Well,
Ever.
why do you want to be friends with a hot girl that can introduce you to her friends? What's the end goal?
To end up getting a girl that has genuine desire for you.
To have
Not to
sex
have
with them.
sex. No, 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 no. To get genuine desire. I don't give a fuck about sex, bro. Sex is easy to get. Sex, like anybody who's like, oh my god, fucking, it's so hard to get sex. Yeah, maybe for some guys, but that's not that big of a goal, dude. Like
So
it's
your
nothing to
goal,
brag about.
so your goal is just literally is not to date the girl, not to have sex with her. It's just to like, just kind of like marvel at the genuine desire. Like, yes, I have
It's to
genuine
make sure that she's really down for me. Because my thing is I don't know about other guys, but when I have sex with a girl, yeah, sometimes I do care about them and I do want to make it serious. So I would like it to be with a girl that really likes me. So then I don't end up simping and falling into a trap of wanting more with a girl that is just doesn't like me that much.
So your
So
goal
it's
is
way
to.
better to filter for a girl that is really down for me. So
I,
I don't
I,
make those
I
mistakes
I don't know
because
why.
I've been in multiple relationships where it wasn't in my frame, and I don't want that again. I
Bro,
want a relationship
I
that's
don't
always
know
in my
why
frame.
you're just dancing around owning this. What you really want is to either have sex or be in a relationship with a girl that has genuine desire for you. That's it.
Yeah,
That's
and
what.
genuine desire is frame. Like I'm associating those two things together.
Right. You want to be in a relationship with a girl or have sex with a girl that really likes you. Okay, cool. There's more than one way to accomplish that. You can accomplish that same thing from cold approach. You can accomplish that same thing from dating apps. You can meet a girl who genuinely likes you, and it's going to be a lot faster the majority of the time than what you're describing. Again, long game versus short medium game. But I don't know why you think that like the guy that takes the girl on 3 dates because she's more conservative, or 4 dates or 5 dates, and it takes him like a few weeks to sleep with her, is simping more than a guy that spends 6 months
Because
going to a
there's
Hooters.
another
Because
chat that she let hit on the first night, bro. Why the fuck would you want to be with a girl that lets other dudes fucking hit earlier? Not every, like, you don't know. Like, the thing is, you don't know what a girl's body count is. You don't know what guys she fucking let hit
what do you
sooner.
think the
So the
average?
bottom line is the best thing is as soon as possible. In the first, and we agreed on that the first or second date is the best thing
But you're
possible.
not having sex with these girls as soon as possible. You're waiting at least 6 months.
No, I'm not trying to fuck those girls. There's no intent to fuck them.
No, there is. You just want
No,
to.
it's when one of their friends fucking comes
Okay,
in or whenever a new girl gets
okay.
hired.
You want to
It's
fuck one of their friends. There's still a medium.
but that friend though, I'm not fucking dude. It might be a week or two within me meeting her, or the first night I meet her because she's heard my name pop up in their mouth fucking 10 times before she ever met me. Like it's just hacking the social status. That's all it is.
I have no problem with that. I just have a problem with kind of like the shaming of the pickup model. Like, let's say we both start from scratch. You don't. We both move to a new city. Like no one knows us, right? We use your method. It's gonna, as you said, take 6 months before you can get girls at Hooters who are comfortable with you, and then introduce you to your friends, and then there's another week before you fuck her. Okay, that's 6 months and 1 week. Let's just say 6 months. If we use my method, you can get a girl who genuinely likes you within like the first week or two.
No, I think that you ended up falling into her frame. Like, I think that women seriously are very good today at making sure that the frame is always in their power. And whenever you use any of these pickup techniques, you're going
What's
to the
this?
girl and showing your intent. You're going to her and saying, "Hey, I like you. I want to fuck. I want to do this." And what I'm saying is that is what's bad. I don't like that. I think that it's really good when a woman is coming to the man and saying, "I admire you, man. I want to fuck you." And she's looking up to you. I
Well,
don't like and don't get me wrong, like if you messaged 100 or 1,000 girls, you might get that. But I think that you just end up with BPD girls, just like how I can accidentally end up with a BPD girl too, doing it in my method. But I just don't think that you're gonna get that in pickup at all. Like from what I see in pickup, where you're just pursuing women, you're
what do you
just
think of?
training a man to pursue. You're just training him to go to the girl, and I don't like that. I think it's better for the guy to train for a woman to come to him. That's
But
it.
do
It's
you not
training.
see how while you may not be going directly to the girl you're sleeping with, you're going to her friend, right? The girl's not coming to your place of work and
I just
spending.
put myself in the right environment. I put myself in proximity. It's different. It's just you're putting yourself in proximity and then the girl falls. That's why I always say, why would I do what y'all do whenever I have girls that would fall into my lap? I didn't pursue, they fell into my lap. That's what I had a three.
Okay, but if the guy,
I've had a threesome. I didn't do anything to have the threesome.
I
I
don't
didn't
know,
do anything. It just fell into my fucking lap.
I don't know why you're having such a hard time looking at things from outside your point of view. I understand that for you, girls are falling in your lap. But let's say we take a guy who doesn't have a social circle or any experience with that. Girls are not going to fall in their lap.
It took me years before I had that threesome. Like this was like five years
Yes.
into me doing Soul
So
Circle before I had that.
So that was years and years of, I guess, pursuing, as we call it. Maybe you're
Well, not
pursuing,
because I was just living life and having friends that were girls, and then it happened. So
but how did you oh my god, how did you develop those female friends? Like you said, you would go to Hooters very consistently. You would banter with them, right? They weren't your friends right away for the first, at least for the first month. You were just a guy that was giving them really, really good tips, and eventually you developed a friendship with them, right? 6 months later. How's that
no,
so?
it's not even 6 months, bro. It happens very fast. Like if you're just like not a fucking loser, and you do some things that I talk about, like thug maxing a little bit. You don't even have to be a fucking thug, but you wear the right clothes and you just don't look like a loser, and you have a good haircut. You can fucking get like girls. Like girls will be like, "What is?" You
Man,
don't have to tell them what
you
you do
literally
for work
said,
or anything. You can be subliminal, and these girls won't know what the fuck you do or anything, and they'll be like, "Oh, this guy's cool. Like we should invite him out with us one time." Like those bitches be going out all the time together.
you literally just said earlier that this would take at least 6 months.
Hmm?
You
No,
just
no. I said it would take 3 to 6 months for the worst guy, and I was saying that for somebody that I'm teaching. For somebody like me, I'll fucking you put me in a new city, I'll have this shit going in fucking 2 weeks because I
okay.
know
So
exactly what
okay,
to
okay,
say and
okay.
do.
Okay, fine.
But
We take
most guys are not socially calibrated. That's what takes a while. Is them just being around hot girls and stop fucking being like super weird and saying the wrong things and stuff. That's the biggest barrier to entry. But that's why we socially calibrate by putting them around really pretty girls as much as physically possible. For guys at the bars, there's like usually a chair right next to where the girls pick up the drinks at. If you sit right there in that chair at the bar, that's right to where you get to talk to all the girls when they come up. And if you're doing something or you have nice shoes on or you're just doing something interesting or you're talking to the bartender about something interesting, you end up talking to all the girls that walk up to the bar. Like guys just don't know these simple little techniques for them to build these type of relationships and how to get socially calibrated.
Yeah,
That's the hardest
I
part.
would argue that being a customer at an establishment and giving them like 2x tips is not the optimal frame to be
Bro,
in.
I'm not saying give 2x if like your plate is $20, don't give them a $40 tip. Like I'm saying like give
The
them
story
10 to
keeps changing.
$15. I'm saying like I said double because most of my tabs are usually $5 to $10. So it doesn't mean anything doubling a $5 or $10 tab. But like I'm not saying you sit there and do like you just don't be a loser. You know anybody who's friends with servers knows servers hate people who give them like $1 or $2. Just don't be an asshole.
So
Like, just don't be a
are
fucking
you
loser.
saying
Like,
just
and bro, it doesn't matter if I go to Hooters or anywhere I go. I'm not gonna be that asshole that fucking tips that bad.
so
Like,
are you
I've never
literally
been
just
that type.
saying now that just don't give shitty tips? Is that really
Yeah, like that's the easy. But dude, you actually have to tell people that because some people are so stupid they actually give bad tips all the time. Like
Okay,
I've talked to
sure.
so many people who do
Don't
that.
be okay. Sure, don't be a bad tipper. But let's say we take you to a new city where you don't know anyone. So you roll up at the Hooters. Are you saying that within a week you're going to be friends with all these girls and they're going to be recommending their friends to you?
Within 2 weeks for me, yes, I could easily do it within 2 weeks, hands down. Like I'm very good at it. I know what I'm doing. So yeah, 2 weeks easy. I would be going out to them at clubs within 2 weeks. I can promise that.
So within 2 weeks, you would go from being a customer to being a friend.
Yeah,
Okay, I
I've
mean,
seen guys do it within a fucking week, man. Like I've literally seen girls like I'm friends with all the girls up there. I've seen them like start fucking dudes within a week that started going there. I've seen them start fucking like
fucking
hanging
dudes,
out with
yes.
regular no like literally because some girls are hoes up there and they'll fuck just a hot dude that walks in. I've seen them fuck dudes within a week of them going there. I've seen fucking guys that are like just new regulars within a week. The girls are going out with them to the clubs and shit because they're buying bottles or doing stupid shit for them. Yeah, like there's it's definitely depending on which girls you talk to and if there's a good clique there that likes the party. That's the biggest thing is cliques because at all these restaurants there's multiple cliques. So you have to it's more about getting in there and being able to psychoanalyze and finding out which ones are the party girls and do all the fun shit and hang out with them the most.
Okay, so right, you go to so what you said is you've seen guys within a week of going to Hooters fucking their girls. Agree. There's some guys that go to Hooters once and they fuck their girl. Okay, but that's not what you're describing. You're not talking about like fucking the girls that work at Hooters. You're talking about friending them so you could fuck their friends. The next thing is that you said is well, you could also just get them out to a club if you're doing something stupid like paying for balls and shit. How that would count as simping in your worldview,
Oh
right?
yeah, you shouldn't do that. I'm talking about those old regulars that come in. The thing is, you're trying to go with like I cannot tell you how many times I've gone out with the girls, and it's with one of those rich regulars that comes there, and I'm getting to drink that bottle. I'm mooching. It's just me and that dude. Like, and then there's like 6, 7 girls around the fucking table, and I'm not paying anything. I'm
Okay.
not doing nothing.
Do you think
Like that's a very regular occurrence when you're one of these guys.
do you
There's
think
I've had so many encounters like that too.
okay, do you think that the vast majority of guys are capable of rolling up to a Hooters and within a week or two have a legitimate friendship with these girls where they're not doing stupid shit?
No, I told you it would take 3 to 6 months because guys have to get socially calibrated and they're just retarded. You have to teach them a lot for them to be able to not
So
act
then
like fucking weirdos.
yeah, so then by that logic for the vast
Most guys cannot be friends with girls like unless they drill it into their fucking head. If you don't look at every girl and imagine she has chlamydia, you're not going to be able to be friends with her. Guys literally have to fucking convince themselves that every girl they're talking to has chlamydia.
I don't think it's as rare as you think it is. Again, when I was a virgin, I had female friends. But anyway, that's on the side. So what you're saying for most guys who take 3 to 6 months, okay, how is that different than a pickup guy who takes 4 or 5 dates to close initially and then gets better and better and starts closing on the first or second date?
I don't think there's anything to be proud of closing on a date with a girl when you have no social calibration. Like that dude, he didn't learn any. Like this is my
Well,
problem with
why do
pickup
you?
is that
How do you?
because just sending messages, bro, just sending DMs doesn't make somebody socially intelligent to make them to be able to read somebody's bone structure in their face and shit. These guys are not getting social experience that sit there and use dating apps or even just do pickup because they're not calibrated. I'm the only reason why I'm so good with women is because I'm around them constantly, constantly.
How do you think
And
you would
that's a
fuck the
problem.
girl? How do you think you will fuck the girl on the first or second night, assuming money is not involved if you're not socially calibrated? How do you imagine that could possibly ever happen?
Well, most of these guys, when they first start pickup, you think they're automatically socially calibrated?
No, I think it takes time to develop, just like it takes time to develop using your system.
Yeah, and I'm saying mine is way more hours in the game. If this was RuneScape, in the first few weeks, my guy is going to have way more hours in women than what yours would.
Doesn't seem like it because for
No,
most
he would because he would be surrounded by hot girls being socially calibrated around them.
right,
We're talking like not even like 10 times the number.
yeah. So just okay. I think there needs to be a distinction between sitting around at Hooters and maybe having a minute of friendly banter with a waitress and a guy actually like going on a date with a girl. They're not even equivalent. So if you're
Yeah,
saying
because the date is only going to be a couple of hours, bro, max. And the thing is, you don't learn anything
and
truthful
you're gonna
because
have a
two people are
1 minute,
lying.
and most
Dude,
guys
but
have
both people are lying at a date, though. You're both trying to sell yourself to the other person, so a lot of not truth comes out. It's better to be socially calibrated with a bunch of women that are being super honest with you because you're not trying to fuck them. It's way different. You learn about how women really
you're
are and what they truly like whenever
yeah.
you're
So
talking to them about their relationship. You're
you're
asking them
trying.
about their boyfriends. That's how you learn truly about female nature. You're not going to learn it going on a date with her.
You think you're gonna learn it by being a customer at a bar and using
You'll
her
learn
to
more
fuck
about
with
women's true intentions and how they really think sitting with them as friends at a fucking bar than yes, going on a date with them 1,000%.
but
Especially multiple women, especially for multiple hours too, bro. I used to sit up at some of these Hooters for fucking hours, like 3-4 hours, just sitting there chilling, talking to the girls the whole time.
But you said for the average guy, it would take 3 to 6 months before you can even be friends with those girls. So that means that initially, when he's going those Hooters, they're not spending an hour hanging out with him. They're talking to him for like a minute or 2 minutes, right? They're having some friendly banter with him, and that's it. And that's how it is for the vast majority of guys that go to these establishments, regardless of their
Not
goals.
if you're a regular, bro. Not at all. Like, yes, maybe your first week or two, but the second time you go up there and you're like, or the third or fourth time, and they realize, or it's the same bartender, and she's like, "Oh, I see you're coming back again." You will have banter. You will have talks back and forth. And the
Yeah,
thing is,
how much banter would you have total? 2 minutes, 3 minutes?
mm, it just depends how. If you go during the hours that I say, you'll have a lot of banter, like 30 minutes to an hour. But if you don't go at the right times when it's busy, then you're gonna have a bad time.
So you're saying that you think the average guy, if they by week two of Hooters, they're going to spend half an hour to an hour just conversating, going back and forth with the hot waitress.
It's not just her, it's multiple ones. That's the problem, is that when you do pickup, you're talking to one girl. And I'm saying how to be friends with multiple girls at once, how to build a social circle of women. So you're talking to all of them about how they are. It's
Okay,
not,
so
see, that's the problem, is like learning about one girl at a time, bro. You're not even coming close to what the guy is learning who's doing social circle. Because you're talking to one, you're learning about this one girl that you're trying to go on a date with.
no. So
Not even close to the same.
if you're no, they're not even close to the same. So if you're at Hooters and let's say there's I don't know 6 7 girls working at that time, you're saying go during the slow time, so it's probably not going to be more than five or so. Then you have exposure during those 2 hours that you're there to 5 girls. If you're doing cold approach pickup, you can approach girl, you can approach another girl, you can get interactions in with 10, 20, 30 girls, right? So no, the amount of girls that you will be exposed to would be more if you're doing cold approach pickup. It's not even close. Now you could argue the quality of the exposure might be different, but not if you're like the average guy who is not someone the girl really, really wants to hang around on, which is not the average guy. The average regular, the girl makes some friendly banter with, like, hey, how's the family? Oh, good, okay. Because I've seen it many, many times. And she's not going to be like, hey, let me tell you my deepest, darkest desire. That's not what's happening to the vast majority of guys who are regulars or Hooters or any one of these other establishments.
Yeah, because
So
the vast majority of guys don't know how to act around women, bro. Like the biggest problem in all of this is once again like the whole chasing, not chasing thing, the whole intent, non-intent thing, dude. Dudes act like fucking dorks. Like dudes are losers, man. Like
you can be,
if they act like how I act around girls, they stand out like a fucking like the biggest thing ever. Women are like, "What the fuck? You're not trying to fuck me? You're not trying to stick your you're not trying to hit on me right now? You're not trying to buy me a bag?" Like
so
it's
yeah, so I can fully acknowledge that you can do what you're doing and not act like a dork. I don't know why you can't acknowledge that you can do pickup without acting like a dork.
because I think that guys always end up slipping up. Whenever you're in a fucking path of going towards like pursuing, that's when mistakes happen. Like that's when guys slip up. That's why we see so many stupid things on Reddit, or we see so many messages from people saying, "Oh yeah, I bought this thing for her," or "I simped and I did this," or you see all these stupid comments under a picture whenever a girl posts a bikini pic.
The same
Like
exact
guys
shit.
slip up all the fucking time.
This,
So
my
so I
man,
teach them don't even fucking start to do it, and you'll never do it, buddy.
my
You'll
man,
never even fucking do it
what
if you just
you're
never even start to do it.
sure, I would agree that you shouldn't even start to simp. But the strategy you're outlining has just the same, if not more, potential for simping. Because the big difference is that if you're hanging out at Hooters, that there's some money involved, there's a tip involved. And I think a lot of guys will also slip up and give the girl like a fucking massive fat tip, hoping that she'll give them their phone number. So there's the same
No,
potential to slip
because
up.
you have to
The,
have
the big
it's
difference. Wait, let me just
intent,
clarify
bro.
this point. Let me just
It's
clarify this point.
intent.
The big difference. The big difference. Well, your intent could be good, but you could still slip up, right? So the big difference is that when you're doing cold approach, there's typically no money involved. You're not a customer. She's just a random bystander. So there's a much smaller potential of a money slip up versus if you're a customer at any kind of establishment, there's a much higher, I guess, chance of you having some kind of a money slip up where money gets involved in the picture. So yeah, like this is what you're describing is not something that's just limited to cold approach. Guys in any one of these dynamics can slip up, whether they're just chilling at their local friendly Hooters or they're going out and cold approaching a girl.
It's, I don't know, man. I'm always gonna see it as when you use pickup in any way, shape, or form to hit on a girl, you're pursuing, and I just don't think that men should pursue women. That's all it is. I think that the women back in the day, they would drop the handkerchief. Like there's always been ways where women showed the signs first, and I think that that's what it's supposed to
There
be like.
still is, but it's typically been for like pretty much all of history that men would be the ones pursuing women. That like in our parents' generation, our grandparents' generation, is that the guy would show up to the girl's house, he would like make friends with her dad, he would leave a good impression, he would pursue the girl, take her on dates, and ultimately the girl would quote unquote give in, right? That's how it was for like literally all of history, unless we go back to fucking
But
prehistoric
would you
times.
agree that women like the bad boys? The
Sure,
guys
yeah.
that act like they don't like them? The guys that fucking treat them like they're not special at all?
Sure, but again, it doesn't change the fact that for literally all of human history, the standard has been that guys are the ones that pursue, guys are the ones that initiate, because that's kind of what women expect. Like, hey, you're a man. I don't
Just
want to feel
because
like
women expect that in society today doesn't mean it's right. Fuck what they expect. It's about what's true. And like the
I
and the
don't
and the
really
truth is
understand.
guys are the prize and women should be pursuing you. And the best relationships come from that. The
Yeah,
best
sure. It's
relationship comes from the girl doing that.
yeah, that's like having a mindset. Yeah, like money should just come to me. Like I don't need to market or promote my business. Money should just come to me. That's ideal. It just doesn't happen for the mass majority of businesses. You have to market and promote your stuff until you get very well established, and then sometimes money starts coming to you. So it's the same thing. I don't see what's bad about a guy taking initiative and showing interest in the girl and being a little persistent. Now you can do all that without simping, without overly pursuing, but I don't know what's so bad about a guy being a man and showing interest and basically like saying like laying the cards on the table like, hey, I like you. You're very attractive. I'd like to go on a date with you, or I'd like to fuck you, or any combination of those two things. Like, I don't know why you view that as inherently
I
bad.
don't care about a random bitch, bro. Like that's probably my biggest flaw is like if it's a random girl and I have no connection to her, I'm probably just gonna fuck her and not talk to her again. Sorry, maybe that makes me a bad person. But if
So
I
then
meet a
you're
girl through a social circle and I have like a tie to her through somebody else, I'm way less likely to do that shit. I'm way more likely to like do the right thing, kind of. So I don't know. I don't think
so,
that it's.
so then
I
you're
just don't.
more so then
I
you're
think it's evil and bad in every way, shape, and form to do pickup. Like I can't explain it any more than like how I have kind of.
but that just
Like
seems like
I'm that much against it. Like I'm very against it.
but you rely on pickup concepts and you do pick up yourself. Like you literally just said
Not
that
really.
you're cold approaching girls, even if you're doing
I
10%.
said it's like 5 to 10% of what I do. Literally 5 to 10%,
Okay,
bro.
so 10% of the stuff you're doing is pickup.
Yes, and like I said, it's whenever, and I'm
Well,
only
if it's
using
so
it.
bad and
it
evil,
but no,
then
no,
why
no,
you're doing it?
but you know what's crazy? Even when I'm using that pickup, I'm only using that pickup whenever I have a social circle of girls with me. Like whenever I'm at a club or so, I will go and talk to other girls and try to get them to come back to our table because I have a bunch of other girls making me look better. So
Dude, you
it's like,
literally
okay,
the story keeps changing like every 20 seconds. You literally just said earlier about like 20 minutes ago that you would just sometimes you don't need to rely on girls. You could just go to
but
Hooters by
like I know
yourself.
what I'm talking about now is if I was teaching a dude, I would tell him, "Hey, bro, if you want to cold approach or walk up to use pickup, if you can utilize your pre-selection, if you have a group of girls with you and you can go do it, go for it. I don't think there's any wrong with doing that. Just like how I don't think Mike or anybody would like I know that Michael likes to have the girls probably come to his table if he was doing something like that, but not I would if I had like a table with a bunch of girls, I wouldn't mind going and talking to other girls on a dance floor and be like, hey, we have a table over here, like over there, like would you like to come and sit with us? And it's just because since you have a bunch of girls with you, they feel more welcome to come and sit over there. Like your status is raised whenever you're introduced to those random girls. There's not a lot of opportunities where I'm able to use pickup to help my social circle. Because if I walk up to a random girl, like say just how I dress right now, just walk up to a random girl, they don't know my social status at all. I'm not status hacking in any way, shape, or form. If I had 5 girls around me and then I went and talked to that girl, then I am using like my
Yeah,
hack.
you're
I'm just
utilizing.
saying that if I'm going to use pickup, I'm going to use pickup with my hack. I'm not going to use pickup just by itself. I know I said earlier I would because I feel like a top G, but that's just because I'm a cocky bastard and I just want to go hit on girls sometimes.
Approaching a girl when you're with a bunch of other girls is very well in line with what pickup teaches. Using social proof, yes, pickup would not be against any of that. That would be a pickup concept. So it seems like you just don't really understand what pickup stands for.
And like I told you, bro, I feel
And
like
also, wait,
everything is a pick. Even mate choice copying could be considered a fucking pickup thing
but just
because
well,
I'm
no,
sure
but
Pickup
that's
wrote about it 10 years ago.
no,
Because pickup was
that's a
the first thing.
social proof is a big tenet in the pickup community. So that would not be like an anti-pickup concept. That would be a pro pickup concept. But also, I don't understand. You spent like 20, 30 minutes talking about how like you would just, if you had a shitty social circle or whatever, or in other situations, you would just go to Hooters by yourself and you would just befriend the girls there, blah, blah, blah. And now you're saying that you would not do that unless you were with other girls. Like the story just seems to keep changing.
No, I'm trying to explain to you because you're trying to make it seem like I use pickup to build my soul circle, and there's a very specific way that I would do it, and it would be using so if it's whenever I'm already using social circle, so it's like it's just using it as an add-on. It's not even like it's the main thing, and you're trying to make it seem like I use it as a main part of of my technique, and it's not even a 10% of my main technique, like not even close.
So then you would never go to Hooters or a place like that by yourself and like meet girls that way. You would only do it when you're with other girls. Is that what you're saying?
If I'm going to pick up, if I'm going to use PUA to go up to random girls, it's because I have a social circle around me. And that's what I would teach other guys
Just
too,
forget
is
about
that you can go
terminology.
get more girls. You can go use pickup for more girls if you're with a social circle of women. It's very simple.
Okay, so forget about the terminology because I don't really think you understand what a lot of like the pickup lingo is. And I'm not saying that like to
I'm
try.
saying cold. Okay, cold
I'm,
approach.
I'm,
Like, what do you want me to say,
no,
bro? Like cold approach. Then I'm
here's the
just saying go up to women. It's not complicated. Everything I'm trying to explain is not complicated right now. It's super simple. Super
so
simple.
so
I'm only walking up to random women if I'm able to leverage I have a social circle with me. So
so
then
then
whenever I
okay,
go
so
up to random hold on. So when I go up to a random girl, she sees social circle and status is higher for me.
Okay,
Do you
so
understand what I'm saying? That's
yeah,
the only time
I understand.
I use that technique.
So
That's
you
what I'm
move
trying to
to a
say.
new city where you don't have any female friends. So what would you do then?
I would literally try to go build rapport somewhere. I would immediately start probably eating at 4 or 5 places and make them my regular spots. And I would start going out and being social. I would get a hobby that's social. I would try to start doing some type of side work that's also social. And I would just be around as many people as I can.
Many hot girls as you can.
Yes.
Okay. So that would mean that you'd be going out and doing the shit that you literally just said 2 minutes ago you would only do with a group. You would be doing it by yourself.
No, because it's just building rapport. I'm not walking up to girls. I'm just going to places and building rapport. How is that cold? I'm not cold approaching anybody in those places.
No, that's not what I'm even trying to argue against. You said earlier that yeah, but like I wouldn't even do any of this stuff. Like I wouldn't go to these restaurants and befriend girls or do any of that if there was not other girls around. But you would in certain situations. So
Okay, I'm giving you two completely different. What the scenario I was giving you was like at a club, bro, because that's the only time I would ever use pickup, ever. Okay, because if I'm at a club and I have a table and I'm with five
well,
girls,
that's not true. You literally said earlier that if you saw a hot girl walking down the street and you had some free time, you'd go talk to her
dude,
because
that's a whole separate. That's a whole separate thing that I told you I'm a cocky bastard, and I would do it just because I'm a cocky bastard. Like you're conflating all these different things that I'm
no,
trying to completely separate from each other,
but they're
and you're
not.
trying to conflate them all together.
When you're saying when you say things like the only way I would do
Because,
cold
bro,
or pickup.
I'm just like
Look,
you,
look,
and I
look,
coach people. Do you want to know what I would tell
look,
other people to do, or you do want to know what I would do?
I'm talking purely about what you would do. I'm not talking about other people.
Well,
So
then that doesn't
when you
matter though,
say
because what I
when
can
you
do
say
isn't what the same. Hold on, what I
it
can do isn't what
absolutely
other people
matters
can do, Alex. What I can do isn't what other people can do. So what's the point of talking about that?
because I'm interviewing you or debating you. Not I'm not debating other
But I
people.
like to talk in general. I
Okay,
don't
but when
ever
you say
whenever I'm
things
talking about the
like
internet, I very
okay,
much rarely talk about myself.
let me just finish the statement. When you say things like I would only do pickup if I was at a club, that's a lie because you're saying that. Well, I would actually also do it in public because I'm a cocky motherfucker. So those two things are mutually exclusive.
Because I'm trying to tell you what I would teach somebody, bro. This is my second time telling you this. If I'm teaching somebody, and we're speaking in general here, if I'm giving advice to somebody, I'm gonna say if you're at a club and you got a social circle of 6 girls, yes, go pick up all the other girls in the fucking club and tell them to come back to your table. If you're at Hooters, bro, no, don't walk up to fucking anybody in there and try to pick them up. You'll look like a retard. No, you don't do that. It's a restaurant. You're just building rapport with workers and bartenders. You're conflating all these things together. You need to separate them into different categories,
They're
or you're
not
not
as
going to understand what
they're
we're
not as
talking about.
separate as you think. But I'm always weary when people do the opposite of what they preach. When guys
Because
are like,
I'm not, dude, I'm not a fat loser like that. I help all the time. The guys that I help aren't like me at all. Some of them are not anywhere close to the type of life or the height or whatever it is that I do. I'm not going to tell them to do what I do. And if I say that if I just saw a random girl in the street and I want to go mac on her, then and that makes me fucking bad because I would go do that or that's against all my policies or something. That's stupid. That's just like doing what any dude would do if he feels like he could get it. And not every guy feels like they can get it. Like most guys aren't that fucking
so for the
confident at
guys,
all.
so for the guys that are confident, there's nothing wrong with them doing cold approach.
If they really fucking feel like they want to do it, go for it, bro. Like I don't care. Like nobody's controlling them. I don't care.
So
I don't help
your
guys who are
position
fucking hot.
changes so much.
Dude, Alex, I don't help guys who fucking have their shit together. I help guys who don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like
Yes,
if a guy is that confident, he wouldn't be talking to me anyways. He would be arguing that PUA is better than everything else. I
okay.
argue with those dudes all the time.
So we went from I think that pickup and cold approach is like evil and making the society worse to yeah, man, I don't care, just do what you want. I do it sometimes too.
No, I'm saying I'm not gonna fucking sit there. If somebody wants to live a certain life, bro, live your fucking life. But I will judge the fuck out of you and call you a simp beta cuck.
For
Like,
doing the
yeah, I
same
call
exact
guys simp
thing.
beta cucks all the times for being PUAs because it is. It
But
is
you
the simp.
do,
It is the simp way of doing things. Even
but
guys
yet you
spinning
do it
plates.
too.
Spinning plates is just simping to me. Those guys that spin plates, the bitches that they're spinning plates on are fucking fat, old, ugly, fucking butterfaces. The type of women that they would never take home to mom, and that's why they're spinning plates on them. And it's like that's
You
just
can,
simping to me for fucking mediocre pussy, bro. Like dudes be doing that shit all the time.
bro, you can have a rotation of girls. They're not fat and old. I don't know where you keep getting
Most these
your head.
dudes that are bragging about it don't
Bro,
have fucking a bunch of hot girls, dude.
okay.
They don't.
So you're saying that like, oh, but I would still like make fun of them for doing that. But yet
Yeah, I'll shame them.
but yet you do the same thing. You said
I don't
yourself.
fuck fat girls.
Okay. So assuming that they're doing pickup with non-fat, not old girls, then you would not shame them. Then you would think there's nothing wrong with that.
I will shame myself for fucking doing pickup. Yes, I would. If I went and walked up to a fucking really hot girl in the street and I look like an idiot afterwards, I'd be like, damn, I'm fucking stupid. I should have never done that in the first place if she rejected me. Yeah, dude, I don't think it's worth it. I know the best strategy is just social circle like what I
So
already do. I would do it for shits and gigs. Shits and gigs. But I know that it's not my best strategy at all. Like it's literally just for shits and gigs. You don't do shit just for fun sometimes. Like you've never like literally done something just because like you didn't give a fuck, you just felt like doing it?
yeah, I do shit for fun, but I wouldn't shame myself afterwards if it didn't go well. So that's counterintuitive right there.
Because I always shame pickup. I would literally shame
It's,
myself in the
wait,
same way of being like, I should have known not to do that because I already fucking hate doing
hang on,
that.
hang on. You gotta let me get like a few words in. Yeah, so if you're doing something just for fun, then the whole premise is that you don't really give a shit and you wouldn't shame yourself for the outcome. The only way you would shame yourself for the outcome is if there's more to it than just having fun. So when you say you're just doing it for the lulls and you're saying also I shame myself doesn't go well, those two things are very contradictory. So yeah, so like you're saying on one hand that like, oh yeah, I would shame pickup, blah blah blah, but at the same time you're saying, well, if I do pick up and it goes well, then I think that's all well and good. I would just shame myself if I get rejected. So it seems like really what it comes down to is just you don't like rejection.
Well, why should I have to deal with rejection whenever it's these bitches that should be getting rejected? That's the funny part, guys. It's like guys actually fetishize getting rejected today.
No,
That's goofy, bro.
it comes down to guys being able to take rejection on the chin and move on and
There's
not
nothing
let
wrong with getting rejected, but the bottom line is guys literally fetishize that shit, bro. They'll do anything just for the smidge of box. And you think I'm wrong, dude? We know guys are just smashing today. Guys aren't getting in relationships. We can look at everything Dr. David Buss talks about. He talks about how whenever the times are worse financially, the more guys opt for short-term strategy. And yeah, guys be opting for short-term strategies all day long. They're just trying to fuck. I'm just against that. If pickup artists and all these people want to push this hedonistic world of just everybody fucking each other, man, go right ahead. I'm still always going to push for relationships and how for guys to find the best relationship for them. Like I really don't care if people want to go do like the whole pickup thing and fuck or spin plates, whatever, but I will judge it and I will shame it and I will laugh at it because it's stupid to me. It's
Okay,
not what
so
I
the
promote.
narrative keeps changing. Now it's more about casual versus meaningful connection. So then, do you personally?
Yeah, because genuine desire leads to the best relationships. That's
Okay,
my
so
whole point.
you can have genuine desire and have casual sex. You have genuine desire and be in a relationship. If you're,
Absolutely. Yes, you can. You can make
so
a choice when you have that girl genuine desire
so
if
do
you want to keep
you?
her or not.
Okay, so do you? So then you just would not have casual sex even with girls who have.
No, sometimes you do fuck girls that you're like, you know what? I learned this about her a week later or a few days later, or her fucking pussy smelled, or fucking shit happens where you're like, you know what? Yeah, I don't, even though this girl has genuine desire for me, I don't want to be in a relationship with her. Or
Okay,
like,
so every girl you have sex with, you have the intention of dating them.
oh, yeah, I'm very, very serious about not fucking girls that like I don't see myself doing something with. Like, I have made a
No,
couple
no,
mistakes,
I'm
but I have.
talking about dating, being in a relationship, but not doing something with.
Yes, I date with intention, or yes, like that is the type of person that I am. Yeah.
So how many girls have you roughly had sex with?
I stopped counting like years ago, bro. Like I
Over a
really
hundred?
don't know. No,
Over
no, 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 no. I'm like I really don't know the number. I know it's like probably over like 35-ish. Like I really don't know though.
okay, over
Like
35.
I'm not some like crazy fucking dude with like 100 body count. No.
How many serious relationships have you been in?
5 serious ones where I lived with the girl. I have a baby mama too.
Okay, so even kind of with the mindset you have like a 12% success rate of casual sex to actually being in a relationship, like maybe 15% if we're being
Because I get scarred whenever I learn more about the girls, bro. Like, yeah, sometimes whenever I see a bunch of dudes hitting them up or they have a crazy Instagram, it's like it turns you off and you can't see yourself being with that girl seriously.
why would you not just try to find that stuff out beforehand?
Because usually you're just fucking, you're kind of horny and you're wondering like what the sex is like. Like you're kind of wondering if they got the Glug Glug 9000 or
But
something.
I thought you said you don't like the idea of casual sex. You're all about relationships.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that she has something that's really surprising, but sometimes the surprise isn't a good surprise, bro. Like that's the problem is like you always are going to be surprised by something. It's just a matter of if it's a good one or a bad one.
So
It
then
just usually it's a bad surprise.
you're not like 100% for serious relationships. You're on board with, hey, let me fuck girls and hopefully they turn out to be quality women in terms of their personality, at least not in terms of looks.
Well,
But
it's also like, dude, you know how some girls ghost you after the fucking first night you fuck sometimes? Like, and then it took me a long time to learn because, dude, I used to play that stupid game where if a girl let me hit on the first night, I would be like, oh, she's a like she needs to text me first because if she doesn't text me first, then that means that she doesn't really like me. And that was really stupid. Like I think I should have always texted those girls like a couple of days later at least or 3 or 4 days later. And I
you
never
mean
did. And
you mean pursuing the girl?
well, the thing, yeah, kind of. But like the thing is, after you fuck her, though, it's not really pursuing, bro. Like you already got the, you're like we're just fighting to get the sex. Once we get the sex, we won the game. So, but like my thing was where I wanted that girl to always come on to me, and I think that's wrong. I think girls feel embarrassed after having sex on the first night, and I think that you do need to text them sometimes a few
Okay, so
days later,
it's okay to
so
pursue
they don't feel
it's okay to
shame.
pursue girls after sex, just not before sex.
It's not pursuing, bro. You're just fucking leading up. You're just like you're
You're
just
taking
like
initiative, yes, which is exactly what pickup
it's
teachers do.
not initiative, bro. You're just saying, hey, you're not a whore for fucking me the other night. Like, let's go on another day. It's not a big deal.
Right, you're taking initiative.
Yeah, so they don't feel used, Vega. My bad. I couldn't think of the word.
You're taking initiative, which is exactly what they teach in pickup. Take initiative. See how
Man,
girls.
fuck you. Y'all take initiative before you even get the box. Fuck that.
Yeah, because typically after you have sex with a girl, dynamic flips, and then she's the one that starts pursuing you. That's also a big tenet in the pickup community. Is that
Well,
once
that's
you
what I
have
would always wait for, and I feel like that's actually a mistake, though. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I did that a lot, but I feel like I kind of let go a lot of really good girls when I did that. Like, because I would sit there and not message them, and like
yeah,
maybe that was the best thing because those girls didn't really like me, but a few other girls I've actually messaged back and I feel like it was fine.
yeah, it's almost like you miss on like 100% of the shots you don't take. It's almost like if you see a hot girl walking down the street, you don't approach her, your success rate is zero because you don't take that shot. Yeah, it's like almost like you have to like take a shot in order to make the shot. Like I know, crazy concept. I
Crazy.
think we're starting to come full circle a little bit, and you're starting to realize kind of how like a lot of these concepts are not really stuff that the stuff that you say you believe in isn't stuff that you actually believe in. Like the whole thing about casual sex was just like a like just bizarre because again, it seems like you're very pro casual sex, but you just go into it with the intention of hopefully this works out. But if you were purely about relationships, that was your end goal. You truly thought casual sex was a bad thing, like some religious person or someone like that, then you would screen very aggressively before you had sex with a girl.
Bro, I'm not gonna, I'm gonna
You would not
say
be talking
now
about how
I'm
good her Gluck Gluck 9000 is.
bro, over like definitely after I had my daughter, it changed everything. Okay, before that, was I hedonistic little fuck and did stupid shit, and I would fuck girls and didn't want relationships with them? Yes, man. I'm not sitting here gonna try to act like I was some perfect person who only ever seeked relationships. But over the last like few years, especially since I had my daughter, yeah, I'm very much like not seeking just sexual pleasure for sure. It just, but yeah, earlier in my life, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I did have sex just for fun. Sorry,
There's
I'm a fucking hypocrite. What can I say?
there's no apology necessary. There's nothing wrong with casual sex. I don't know why you would even demonize it. Like some people want to have casual sex, some people want a relationship. What's the problem?
I think it's okay for a phase, but I don't like encouraging women to have casual. I know that you're okay with women having casual sex, but I don't think women should have casual sex, man. I think it fucks their heads up.
Well, in order for men to have casual sex, that would mean that women would need to have casual sex too.
Women have to open their legs because they're the gatekeepers of the sex, so they can just
So I
all decide
can't.
tomorrow to just stop fucking having sex, and everybody would have to stop.
There's no way I can be okay with men having casual sex and at the same time say women should not have casual sex because then the only people that men can have casual sex with is other men, right? So you need women to be willing to
Let
have
those
casual.
fucking faggots. Oh shit, my bad. Let those gay people and the trans do their shit, bro. My
No,
bad.
that's you're completely missed the point. The point I'm making is that to have casual sex between a man and a woman, it requires a man wanting to have casual sex and a woman wanting to have casual sex. You need both of those because they require each other. Like, because a man has to have sex with a woman. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how breaking down more simply than that. So yeah, like I would sure if you're saying like, well, I don't think women should be encouraged to have casual sex, but then you can't at the same time take the position that, well, actually, I would encourage men to have casual sex because again, both parties need to participate in this. But no, I don't.
So here's the problem though. When it comes to hoeing and stuff like that, it's not like every girl's a fucking hoe. There's like only a subset of girls that are like doing all the crazy sleeping around. Same with the guys. There's only like a small set of guys that are like doing the crazy sleeping around. I don't sit there and think like all girls are fucking hoes. I think there's categories of women, and it's mostly like the fifth category that are like the hyper thoughts that we're all talking about all the time. It's a vocal minority. Well, they're not even vocal, but it's a minority. So I really don't think that like guys sleeping around a lot means that we're just making a bunch of other girls hoes. Now, if you're doing what we're talking about, where you're just fucking and you're just trying to have casual sex, then yes. But if your
No,
goal is
I don't
relationship,
think I've never claimed that guys like fucking around makes girls into hoes. I don't think you make a girl into a hoe, or at least not the vast majority of the time. I think the girl was already either came at the right place, right time, she got over a breakup, or she was already a little bit more on the promiscuous side. But typically, like the majority of girls, or like normal girls, their body count's in the single digits, and it composes of some combination of relationships and casual sex. Like most girls have had at least like one night stand at some point in their whole life, right? The difference between the girls who are like the hyper thoughts and like the average girl is they just didn't do it more than like once or twice. But yeah, like I don't see what the issue is with like a girl having like one night stand in college, or a guy going out and having a few casual sex relationships. Like what's the problem with that? Why is that
well,
more bad?
Well, like I said, I don't think it's bad for the guys, bro. Like, if anything, guys need to have a little bit more casual sex today, but it's to be able to keep up with the women. My problem is like in a relationship is I think the guy should have three times the girl's number. So if the girl has a 5 body count, yeah, I'm sorry, the number's gonna be a little off. He needs to have like 15. He needs to fucking fuck like 10 plus fucking whores, like those girls in that category that I'm talking about that sleep around a lot. He kind of needs to get his numbers up because he needs to have more experience than the girl. I think that there's so many relationships today where it's the girl has 20 bodies and the guy has 3, or the girl has fucking 17 and he has 5 or something. And it's just like those relationships don't work out. Just like how whenever a guy can be like 40 years old with an 18-year-old girl and it's super fucking weird. It's super weird if a girl has way more experience than a dude, traveled all over the place, and has like a fucking 25 body count, but she wants to be with a 2 body count dude in a relationship. Like she just wants to take advantage of him. Like she like that's not healthy at all. And there we see these dynamics all the time. So guys need to get a higher body count just so they have more of a pool of women to choose from. Because right now you see it every day. Guys are like, I want a virgin. I want a virgin. You know why they're saying that? Because they have a 1 body count or they have a 2 or 3 body count. And I agree. They probably do want a virgin because their body count's so fucking low. But if they got their shit up to 5 or 10 or 15, they would be a little more cool about that girl they met that has a 5 or a 10. And like that's all I'm trying to do is like
Yeah,
if the guys get up.
that's general. What you just said is generally true, but except for the fact that earlier on you said that you would shame those guys for having casual sex.
Yeah, so no, I'm not trying to shame guys for having casual sex at all. I always say that guys should have like the triple number. The thing is you shoot for relationships. I don't think I'm a bad person if my intention is always wanting a relationship. I gotta let my dog out in a second. But if my intention is always wanting a relationship, then it's not bad. But if your intention is I'm just going to fuck this girl and I want nothing else from her but sex, and I'm just gonna waste her time for 6 months, I think that's fucking weird or like fucked up.
Um, yeah. So I don't even know where to begin with that. So if you fuck 100 girls and you get one relationship, then you're either absolutely
Obviously, your tent wasn't relationships then.
okay. So how many? Like you said, you encourage guys to have triple digits. So how many relationships should they be in order to have the triple digits?
At least there you're to get to 15, he's gonna be in at least probably 2 to 3 relationships.
To
Like
get
I would say,
to get to triple digits?
probably at least 2 relationships because just to get into the first one, he's probably gonna fuck 5 to 10 girls. Because it's a filtering mechanism
Triple
for guys.
triple
Like,
digits triple digits is over 100.
hmm?
Triple digits is
Oh,
over.
I don't mean triple digits like that. I mean triple whatever the girls is. So if you want to be with a girl with a 5 body count, I think he needs 15. If he wants to be with a girl that has a 10 body count, I think he needs 30. Like Myron's little prescription where he says everybody needs to have more than 50 in Miami. When every bitch there has over 15 to 20 bodies,
Well, first
yeah,
of all,
you probably should need a 50 body count there.
that's not true. That like every bitch in Miami has a 15, 20
Oh
body.
yeah, I agree with you, but like maybe I'm just like throwing out there. Maybe that's why he says 50 bodies is because yeah, the bitches out there might be sleeping around more. You would know, you're there, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure the girls in Miami on average have more casual sex than girls in like Kansas or Kentucky. But no, I don't think the average girl in Miami has like a body count of like 20. Uh, but okay, so you're saying two relationship, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, I still, even if you're like like let's say you're in college or you're gonna ship out to the military in a year, I'll just try to like make these examples as like understandable as possible. What would be the issue for you? Like, hey, I'm not in a place in my life to have a serious relationship, so I'm just gonna have, some casual sex for a year. Like, what's the issue with that? What's the moral issue with that?
I mean, it's just that I think that you are wasting people's time when you do that. Now, are there girls that like will
Wait,
say,
what if
"Oh,
you're
I just want casual sex too"? I think they're all fucking lying. Like those
what if
bitches will
you're
say
wait,
that, but low key, they would love to have a guy fucking sweep them off their fucking feet.
what if you're upfront and you're just direct? You're not lying to the girls. You're like, hey, listen, I'm not looking for anything serious. Is that a problem there?
Yeah, it's just gonna turn the bitches on even more because they like what they can't have. Yeah, you're gonna say the thing that literally makes their fucking panties drop.
So you think like every single girl who's not in a serious relationship is lying?
No, it's not that I would say that I think she's lying. I just think that she's coping. Just like how there's dudes coping all day long with why they can't get girls.
No, man. There's definitely some girls like you said, 5% of the ultra sluts. Like those girls can be in a relationship if they want to. There's enough guys that they fucked that would want to date them. It's just there's some girls who don't want to be in a relationship. It just is what it is. I now agree that more girls want to be in a relationship compared to the number of guys. So guys tend to lean more on the casual sex side. But there's certainly plenty of girls out there that don't actually prioritize or even significantly want to be in a relationship.
Yeah, and yeah, I agree that there's definitely some slurs or some boss babes that definitely want that, or they just like having dick, and then they like having going out to dinner with five different dudes or having a roster, you know.
Or maybe she's just like focused on her career. Like she's like working 80 hours a week because
Yeah,
she's
yeah, yeah, the boss babe, yeah.
yeah, sure. So if let's say you're a guy and you're sleeping with the boss babes and you're up front, then there's no ethical issue with having just casual sex.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. If y'all wanna fuck those girls, that's fine. But I don't like old bitches. Like, I bet
Oh my
that bitch
god,
is
you keep
old, man.
this is I don't know why you
I
keep
bet
doing
that bitch is
this.
older than him.
You
Dude. The
keep
thing is,
her-
like, my big thing is, I just don't want guys fucking girls that are older than them. I don't want guys fucking girls that weigh more than them. That's fucking pathetic to me. I'm
I don't
sorry.
know. I don't know why you keep doing the straw man of like every time like impress you on a point, you just go back to old girls and fat girls. We've already agreed that you probably shouldn't fuck fat girls and you probably shouldn't fuck girls who are like significantly older than you. We're in agreement on that. So we don't need to keep bringing it up as like a weird straw man. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about boss babes, girls who are like younger than you
But
or
most
your age.
bitches that are boss babes are fucking old, bro. I'm just saying, like that. A
No,
girl
not
doesn't become a boss babe like at a young age. Like she usually fucking gets that after like 30.
No, not
She
necessarily.
starts.
If you're going, for example, for like female lawyers or female doctors, like typically a female doctor will have to do her internship and residency where she's working insane hours, and then once she becomes a doctor, she has much more control of her schedule. It's much more chill. It would be the same thing with being an intern at a law firm, and then once you become partner, then you obviously have a lot more control, a lot more free time. So no, a lot of careers. You would actually work more when you're younger, and then as you advance in the career field that you're pursuing, then you would have a little bit more free time.
I still don't think that it's good to fuck those bitches. Like I would never like even spinning plates. Like I don't believe in spinning plates really. Like if the plate falls, the plate falls. Like it's like I never sat there and tried to fucking keep up with girls. Like once I realized I didn't want to fucking be with them, I didn't want to be with them. And
What's
that's another weird thing. These guys maintain plates of girls that this shouldn't even be fucking maintained. Like taking these girls on more dates that they never are gonna have anything serious with. Yeah, I think it's a waste of fucking time.
so
Like
so
I don't think it does anything fucking good for either fucking party.
okay, so explain to me what the moral or ethical issue is with having casual sex with a girl who's attractive, who's younger than you, who's working 70 hours a week because she wants to be a doctor, and is not pursuing a relationship, and neither are you, and you're a
Like I
partner.
said, I would try to make it work. And if the girl didn't pursue me afterwards or want something from us having sex, I wouldn't sit there and maintain the plate. Where most guys would sit there and maintain the plate for as long as they can.
That's okay. We're talking about two different things. I'm saying that you're upfront with a girl, she's upfront with you. You guys both have crazy fucking schedules, and you don't want to be in a relationship at this moment. She doesn't want to be in a relationship at that moment. You guys are both upfront with each other. She's not old, she's not fat. What's the problem with you? What's the ethical issue with you having casual sex with her?
I don't think that there's an ethical issue unless I want to sit there and take like the Christianity route and say that it's based off my Christian morals. It's more that I just don't want to waste time. My biggest issue is wasting time. I'm not going to sit there and keep fucking a girl that doesn't want anything serious with me. If we have sex and she catches some crazy vibe where she's willing to sacrifice, where she's like, you know what, I'm going to school, I'm doing all this crazy shit, but I want to be in a relationship with you really bad, and I'll do whatever it takes, then cool. We will probably keep fucking, like we will. But if she's on her own thing and she's like, hey, I just want something casual. I've had plenty of girls tell me that, bro. I've had more girls tell me they want casual shit than want something serious. And every time I'm just like, yeah, I'm not about it. Now, if they hit me up like 2 or 3 months later on a cold Thursday, did I fucking answer? Yeah, I might have answered a few fucking times, but I tried to not pursue those girls after that. After they told me that shit, I would really not pursue them. I really just don't like pursuing women, bro. I hate it. Like I really don't like. I don't think these women are worth fucking chasing. If they were worth chasing, and trust me, I've chased girls before, but it was because I put the pussy on a pedestal, and
Okay,
now
wait,
I've learned to not
like
put certain pussies on the pedestal anymore. And as you get better and better and better, you start realizing, man, most of these pussies aren't worth being put on the pedestal. It's a growing.
you're like literally throwing in five different ideas and concepts, and then I have to like fucking pick them out one by one to respond to them. But I don't want to get like off track. So you're saying that the initial thing you said, which was the answer to my question, is that, well, you don't want to waste your time. Okay, that's fine. But that assumes that your main goal is to be in a relationship. What if you're a guy whose main goal is not to be in a relationship? What if you don't care about being in a relationship? What if you want to just focus on your career and focus on the shit you're doing? You just want to have some fun. If you're that guy, then what's the ethical issue of you having casual sex with a girl who's on the same page, who's not fat or old?
I just wouldn't. There's not an ethical issue with it. It's just I wouldn't encourage being that guy. Even if like I'm personally the type of guy where I do better in relationships.
Yes,
So my
you
my
are
intent
that
is
guy.
being in a relationship.
Yes,
Personally, yeah.
and I'm not the guy that watches anime, but I'm not going to say, oh, there's something wrong with people who watch anime, right? Like you're talking about, like I don't fucking like Chinese food that much, but I'm not going to be like, guys, yo, don't eat Chinese food. You're talking about,
I also hate single people too, bro. I think single people ruin the fucking world. So yeah, like I'm against a lot of things that normal people aren't against. Like
it's
I'm very prejudiced.
like the idea of what you're against is like really malleable and kind of changes, and a lot of the things that you think you're against, you're really not nearly as against as you think, or you're potentially not
I'm
against.
90% against it. Of course, because there's nuance to everything. I can't say I'm 100% single people because you could bring up all types of nuance about certain aspects of certain things that are good about being single. But the bottom line is, for the most part, most people are single because they're fucking losers, man. And like that's just my belief.
Are you single right now?
No, I have a girlfriend.
Okay, so you're not single, but you were single at one point.
Yeah, yeah. I usually after a breakup will be single for at least a year to 2 years. Yeah, I will
Right.
be a
I,
loser, just being just searching for, my purpose in life, I guess.
I don't I don't know why you have this idea that like being single means you're a loser, or that you like. There's a lot of people who are taking some time to focus on whatever the fuck they're doing, and they're just don't want to be in a relationship. I used to be one
It
of them.
usually means that you don't have your money together as a man. Like I said, the more financial inequality is, the more guys opt for the short-term mating strategy. It's the same reason why I see big old gym bros, everybody that I know that's in the red pill space, or that are like guys in the self-improvement space. They all got these awesome bodies, but they got no fucking money.
Yeah, dude.
Super weird.
When you read Dan Bilzerian's book, you're gonna see there's case after case. Dan himself, all his friends were really, really rich guys, had their money together, who did not want to be in a relationship. They just wanted to have a bunch of casual sex. Literally, Dan himself uses himself as an example. He's like, yeah, I started dating this girl. I was like, fuck it, I want to be single. So there's a shitload of rich guys who don't want to be in a relationship. It's
Oh
large.
yeah, you're basically a unicorn today if you do the short-term strategy, which is make yourself look good, and then you opt for the long term. You tell women you want long-term relationship,
But
and
if
you
your
basically
main
look like a
goal,
fucking unicorn because every dude is doing exactly what you just said. If he has money, he's fucking all the bitches, and if he's a loser, he's not fucking any bitches, or he's a loser that still fucks bitches.
if your main goal is to have a serious relationship, then why even the need to fuck the girl on the first or second date? Why
For
not?
genuine desire and being in your frame.
Well, right. Like, would you say that like our parents' generation, like there was no genuine desire back then, even though
No,
they
no,
were.
no. If the woman always in our parents' generation, if they always made every man wait months or years or whatever the fuck, then yeah, it is genuine. If she makes you wait a year and she made every other dude before you wait a year, then that's genuine. There's not like it's. But the problem is today's promiscuous culture makes it to where women are giving it up early. So yeah, that's what fucks it all up. Like we wouldn't even have these issues if it wasn't for women being super promiscuous. I wouldn't have to run up a body count number to find genuine desire if it wasn't for women giving it away like candy to everybody.
So
So it's
so yeah,
like that is a side effect of women sleeping around.
So yeah, this like relies on kind of semi faulty data. So if you actually look at the studies on this, the top 5% of most promiscuous girls are more promiscuous today than they were like 30 years ago. So i.e. the sluts of today are having more sex than the sluts of 30 years ago. But if you look at the other 95% of women, which I would consider the average girl, their body counts are exactly the same, if not slightly lower than the boomer generation. So for example, Gen Z and whatever the fuck is the one that comes after that, they're having less sex than Generation X and boomers on average. A little bit less sex, not significant, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And they're virgins later too. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm talking about just women right now and all. So like I don't know where this idea comes from that like girls are just giving it all up like really fast right away now. It's become more socially accepted, but doesn't mean something that's like just being done left and right.
Well,
Uh,
because it's easier. It's just it doesn't say you're a good girl that doesn't sleep around. That doesn't matter because there's so many other girls who devalued sex and they are willing to have sex on the first night. Like say like all these girls that are like I make every guy wait months or years. They're competing with bitches that let guys hit on the first night. And if it's so it's all about the marketplace. If most of the marketplace isn't making guys wait, well then that's the marketplace.
but most yeah, but like most girls are not giving up on the
I don't
first.
think that girls are hosed, bro. I've seen the same studies as you, and I tout them all the time that I don't think girls are actually fucking hoes. But we also know that women are more likely to lie on those type of studies and say what their body count is. Like they're more likely to underinflate.
Probably, but there's like no point of data that like actually confirms this. Like even when I did my own data gathering and did my screen reviews, when I would interview couples, I would ask, "How did you guys meet? And what date did you have sex on? How many days did it take?" The vast majority of the time, the answer was like fourth date, third date, months. We didn't have sex until marriage. There was maybe like three, four couples where they had sex on the first date. It was pretty rare. So yeah, so again, the majority of girls aren't like these mega thoughts nowadays. They're just giving up on the first date. I have a little bit of a actually not a little bit. I have a significant sample bias because I'm number one on Tinder. I have a very fuckboy profile, and number two in real life, when I cold approach girls, I come off very much as a fuckboy. So the girls who are more traditional, generally speaking, unless they really, really fucking like me, are not going to go out with me. It's going to be the girls who are more open to having sex on the first night because it's pretty obvious. Like, and then even like, let's assume that I don't give too much fuckboy vibes. They're going to add me on social media and they're going to see my Instagram and all that shit and my YouTube channel. They're like, yeah, this guy's a fuckboy, right? And I've just made my peace with that. But the point is that, yeah, most girls are not, even though you and I might have sample biases, most girls are not in this like I'm a mega thought category. But that's neither here or there. I think the main point is that like I don't know, like the kind of like the odd demonization of like casual sex is just kind of bizarre to me. Like it seems like on sometimes you're saying like, well, it's just not something I prefer, which is totally fine. We all have our own preferences. But then when you say like, yeah, I would shame guys for having like casual sex, but then later you say like you wouldn't. I don't know. Like I just don't see the point of like demonizing something that doesn't cause any kind of like ethical harm assuming that the guy's being transparent, honest with the girl. That's the assumption that underlies there. Like again, like to go back to the analogy I was giving earlier, yeah, I would think there's something totally fucked up, and I would totally demonize people being racist, right? Or people being thieves, or people being violent, or murderers, or alcoholics, all those things. But I wouldn't demonize something that's like anime or something that's just like not my preference. So I don't know why you would put the casual sex in the category of like someone who's a thief or someone who's an alcoholic. Something does objective harm rather than just something that's not your preference.
Oh, dude, it's not even. I'm not even trying to argue ethics or anything like that. Like the bottom line is that I just think certain things are bad, me personally, and I just don't think people should do those things. Do I slip up and do some of those fucking things? Yeah, I also think it's bad to fucking drink. I still fucking drink though. Like I'm not a perfect person that just never drinks, even though I think drinking is horrible.
But
Like
there's no
I think
real
drinking is like the worst thing in the fucking world, honestly. I still fucking drink though, but I can still have the opinion that I think it's a horrible fucking thing.
well, if you
It
think it's a
kills lots of people and does a lot of bad to the world.
yeah, so if you think drinking is a horrible, horrible thing, one of the worst things, and you drink even occasionally, that would make you at least an occasional hypocrite. I think we all can be hypocritic in some ways, but that would be a clear act of hypocrisy. Again, saying one thing and doing another. But I don't know how casual sex has like why in your head it's in that same category. Like you still haven't given me again, assuming you're not fucking older fat bitches, and assuming you're upfront with a girl. You haven't given me any like kind of solid reason for why that's something that guys should not do, aside from the fact that you don't like to do it yourself. That's fine. But that's a preference. How does it actually cause harm? Because drinking aggressively, we know causes harm. It fucks up your organs. It causes you to sometimes drink and drive, which is a serious crime. We know what we can easily name what the tangible detriments to drinking or drinking heavily at least are. But I haven't seen you do that with like casual sex. Assuming it's not a fat chick, assuming it's not an old chick, and assuming you're upfront with a girl, and assuming you're wearing condom.
No, I mean I'm just gonna take the Christian stance for a lot of things, man. I don't even like to label it as fucking Christian. I really don't. But just the bottom line is that I will take a Christian stance on most things. I think that the Bible gives really good prescriptions. I'm not the best at going by their prescriptions at
Do
all,
you think the
but I
Bible
will
would be
say that it
pro?
has the best prescriptions.
Do you think the Bible would be pro social circle game? Do you think the Bible? Do you think Jesus would be on board with befriending girls
Absolutely.
so you could fuck their friends later on?
Absolutely. You know why? Because see, this is the crazy thing about Soul Circle game. It's actually just common sense. It's common sense to have a friends that are women. It's common sense to be friends with everybody in the village. But we don't have fucking villages anymore.
That's not. But that's not what you're doing. You're
No,
deliberately.
you're dude, women are more attracted to dudes that are safe. So if you're a part of a community, which is even just being around other women in a community, you're literally doing the same shit. Like what I teach is literally just being like normal. It's
Okay, so
common sense.
do you
It's
think
really nothing special.
okay? So do you think if Jesus was born today, he would just hit
Yes,
up
he was surrounded by women, bro. He had a
he
bunch of
would.
fucking women around him.
Do you think he would hit up his local Hooters at like 2 p.m. and hang out there and be like, you know what? I'm
Actually,
gonna,
he fucking would because he would hang out with fucking sinners and horrible people all the fucking time. So yes, he would.
yeah, and he would befriend those girls with the intention of fucking their friends.
No, he would befriend them just to be their friends because I didn't, dude. I'm genuinely friends with these fucking girls. Like I'm actually genuinely friends with all these women.
But
If pussy lands in my lap afterwards too, that's just a plus, baby.
you're
That's
only
just a plus.
you're
It's
only
not.
friends
It's not like you're chasing it. It just happens.
but you're
This
only
is the
friends.
difference. This is what I'm so against, bro. Is that y'all keep chasing pussy? Pussy should be fucking coming to you.
Okay, I don't know why you keep putting me in this category. I certainly don't chase pussy. But so so I don't even know how Jesus came up, but the whole point is that like yeah, like what you're doing is because you're saying that well yeah, but I'm only friends with the really hot girls. You said that earlier. Unless you want to like walk that back and saying that
No,
you're
I'm
friends
friends with
with
like yeah, hot girls. Yeah, for
so you're
sure.
only friends with hot girls. So it's not just purely out of your desire to have a friendship. It's not some altruistic thing. It's not like, hey, I just want to be friendly and make friends. No,
No, I
there's
am friend, bro. I'm friends with fucking. You got Ashley in your chat. There's a bunch of girls in our Twitter group that are a bunch of mid old bitches, bro. I'm friends with all of them. I'll help them all out if they message me asking for
yeah.
advice.
I'm sure.
If
I'm
they had
sure.
a
I'm
question,
sure.
I fucking I'm friends with all of them, bro.
Yeah. I'm
I'm
sure these
clearly friends with all women. It's just certain women I am more friends with for sure. I consider them like my best friends.
right because they're hot because they can give you value in your
It's
life.
not just because they're also hot. They've been there and done a lot of shit for me, bro. Like I got kicked out of my parents' house at one time and a girl like let me live with her. I had another time where I lived with a girl and I
Do
was
you
having
think?
like a
Well,
hard time in my life
do you
and
think only?
she didn't have to let me come live with her.
Do you
Like
think?
I have
Do you
huh?
think only a hot girl will like let you live with her, or could a mid bitch let you live with her? Like it's all
I think it's pretty ironic that the two girls that I lived with that were like my best friends definitely were like pretty fucking hot girls. So I don't know why if they're like more likely to be that nice or something. I don't know. I actually find hot girls to be really really fucking nice. Michael
so
actually just
you
made a
think
video the other day about this.
you
Hot
think
girls are like some of the nicest girls you'll ever meet. Usually, it's the
yeah. So,
sevens that are the
so you
worst.
think that hot hootress waitresses are nicer than like your average like just fucking chick?
Honestly, yeah, 1,000%. Because the 4, 5, and 6 set girls like have a huge head, bro. They like think they're the shit, and
But
like a girl that's like a 7, 8, 9, 10 sometimes is way more like normal. I'm
okay,
just telling you, bro. You don't have to ask me. Like, go ask Michael too. Like, he's had the same experience. Like, me and him both agree on that. He just posted a short of it on his Instagram like yesterday.
yeah. So like what Michael says doesn't really affect my worldview because I don't agree with
Well,
him.
me and Michael are very similar, so it does affect my worldview because it's like I lived the same life as him for a lot
Yeah,
of it.
sure, but that's not gonna like be like a source of evidence for me. Oh, Michael believes this. I don't really think, if anything, I don't think there's any correlation between a girl's attractiveness and how nice and friendly she's going to be, and how much of a good friend she's going to be. I've never seen that.
I actually think there is a study for this, and I'm gonna try to find it for you. I think it's in Dr. David Buss's book, "Why Women Have Sex." I'm gonna try to find it tonight. But I think one of the, or no, not no. It's actually uh, Satoshi Kananawa on Why Beautiful People Have More Daughters. It was that book. Yeah, no, I'm gonna try to send that to you later. But I think there is a thing behind prettier women are nicer, and it's mostly because the world is kind of nicer to them. Yeah, because they get put on a pedestal, bro. A
yeah,
pretty girl gets treated way better than other people sometimes.
I just don't. You think that being put on a
Dude, fat
pedestal makes
bitches get
you less?
treated like shit, bro. Go to the fucking Forever Alone subreddit. Like there's women that are like fucking just somewhat ugly, and they get treated like shit because they're put on a pedestal based
You
off their
literally were
beauty.
just saying earlier that fat girls get so many guys simping for them. They have this massive ego. So
Yeah,
how?
if they get on a dating app and they sit there and fucking let dudes fucking tell them all this shit and they believe it, then yeah. But a lot of these women are really insecure and they don't want dudes just to fuck them. If you go to Forever Alone subreddit, it's a bunch of virgin old women that are like fat and they don't fucking go simp for those fucking dudes or they won't go get on a dating app because they don't want to just get fucked. Like they're trying to find something serious and they can't have that.
Okay, so yeah, so 95% of people on Reddit are dudes. So there's going to be a massive sample bias there. And
I've heard that. Yeah, you
the
might be
type
right
of
there. I'll give you
girl
that.
that's going to go on Reddit is very different than the average type of girl. Take all the hot girls you're friends with. Uh, I bet not a single one of them actually spends time on Reddit. So that's neither here or there. Yeah, I mean, you would have to show me the study. I do not believe at all that hot girls are kinder than average girls. I think that, in my opinion, attraction doesn't really play a role in how kind you are. But if I was to take a guess, I would say it probably goes the other way. I would say that hot girls tend to be a little bit more standoffish and sometimes even more bitchy because there's so many people who hitting them up for this, like, oh, I got this, I got this. So they're kind of more on the lookout for being like fucked over than the average girl. But if I was to take a position, it has to go in one way or another. But generally, I would say I don't think really looks affect your character in terms of how nice and kind you are. I've seen mean fat girls and I've seen kind hot girls, and I've seen vice versa. I've seen really mean hot girls, I've seen kind fat girls, and everything in between. So yeah, so that's neither here or there. But like again, I don't know why we're pretending like you're just like befriending these hot girls out of the kindness of your heart because you legitimately want friendship. Your ultimate end goal is to fuck their friends, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that, but you just got to own that.
It's about how genuine you are, bro. Trust me. Like, I don't think guys should do this if you're not genuinely trying to be friends with a girl. Like to me, it's easy to be friends with girls because I have four sisters. I was raised in a hair salon. Like I'm very used to being around women, and I like that. I agree that if a guy comes into this thinking that he can just be an ungenuine guy, just literally try to finesse his way to pussy, yeah, that's fucking stupid. But if you actually genuinely want to build good relationships, and while you're building good relationships, like heighten your status, then yeah, fucking be friends with women, bro. Like I had opportunities in my early 20s that no other dudes ever fucking have, and it's just because of my friends that were girls and their sugar daddies and all types of crazy shit that I got to go do with them.
There's
Like there's
nothing.
very few
Yeah.
few people that get to experience what I got to, and I'm just trying to let other guys experience that shit.
Yeah.
Most guys
So
never get to hack their status, and like they end up just chasing pussy their whole life.
yeah, there's nothing wrong with being friends with girls or even focusing primarily on hot girls, right? That's not the criticism here. The criticism here is the contradiction between you literally saying earlier, at least, that no, I'm not going to be friends with like an attractive girl. I'm going to be friends with the hot girls, right? That I'm assuming that's your actual position. And you might say, oh, yeah, but I'll be nice to this random mid whatever bitch. I'm sure they love getting called that, but those are not like your close friends. It seems like, and then also at the same time making it seem like you have this very pure altruistic motive, which is just friendship. No, your motive is at the end of the day is to fuck their friends, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that per se. It's just that what's wrong is the contradiction between making it seem like, oh, pickup guys, it's so unethical. You're trying to fuck the girl. You're trying to fuck their friends. There's not a big difference between those two things.
But like the thing is I'm not though. That's what you don't understand. I'm not trying. Like that's the entire point is to like not try. Like
Okay,
have you never had anybody, bro? Like before you were good with girls, did you ever have somebody say, like when you were struggling? I don't know if you ever had a struggle where you talked to another dude. You never heard a guy say, "Bro, just stop trying and it'll just happen for you." Have you ever heard that before?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, it's something that is very commonly said, and it's very fucking true. When you stop trying so hard, shit comes to you. So I'm just very much against guys trying so hard. If I tell you to just be, and the thing about altruism, the reason why I bring that up is
That's a
because
totally different
altruism is the
point.
greatest trait of all of history as a man. If you read Dr. David Buss's books, Why Women Have Sex, the number one trait that is a man can have that women like is altruism. It's the number one trait. So whenever you're just being, and all altruism teaches you, bro, is who reciprocates and who doesn't. The reason why Jesus is literally a personification of altruism. He's a personification of it, the exact trait. And when you're truly altruistic, you learn who reciprocates and who doesn't. It's the greatest trait in the world, and every guy should be altruistic and try to be friends with everybody around them, men and women. I don't think what I'm preaching is fucking crazy. I think it's actually very normal, but people just don't do it. I think back in the day, this was super normal talk, but now we have cell phones, we have the internet, and we're all separated. We're all atomized.
Well, no, I don't think like 100 years ago or 50 years ago, the idea of like, hey, I'm gonna befriend this girl so I can fuck her friend 6 months or 3 months or two
I mean,
weeks.
like 1,000 years ago, bro. Like I'm talking about, like whenever, like for thousands of years, for most of human history, going back Homo erectus, we had small communities. We had small communities for most of human history. The rule, like we're living in the exception if you only think about the last 100 years.
Okay, anyway, that's a whole different aside. You keep conflating all these different points. The point I'm making, really, again, is going back to ethics and values and contradictions. Is that okay? You're saying, well, I'm not trying, sure, but what's your ultimate motivation? What's your end goal? Why are
It
you
is. It is to just. It is. Your goal should always be your own purpose. You should be on your purpose and focusing on yourself.
what is the purpose for befriending the hot girls?
That's not your purpose though. You're just creating things and you're being social. You're just literally living a social life. This is like me saying that I play that somebody goes to the gym, or for me, I used to play paintball, that I only played paintball to get bitches.
No,
Or those
no,
guys
no,
that go to the gym, they
don't
only
say
go to the
that,
gym
man.
to get bitches. They
That's
obviously don't go to the gym just for bitches. They go to the gym because it also makes them look better. They feel better. It's good for mental health. There's many reasons why you go to the gym. It's the same for you building a soul circle. You don't build a soul circle just to get bitches one day. You do it because it's good for your mental health. It's good for your social health. It's good for you in general.
why are you befriending hot girls? What's the ultimate end goal? I know it's not your sole purpose. What's the end goal for doing that? I walk you
It's
through it
not
like
even. It's but you shouldn't be chasing. You shouldn't be making it a
that's
goal. It should
none
never
of
be a
that.
goal.
No one's saying any of that. I'm just asking you literally what's the end. I walked you through this about an hour ago, and you admitted that was to fuck their hot friends.
Well,
Just
yeah,
admit it.
because at the end of the day, you're going to end up getting sex. It's going to happen. Yeah, that I will say that you're not doing it intently just for that, but it's gonna happen.
Well,
You're
that's the
going to get pussy for doing this, even though you didn't try to.
but that's the main goal of befriending hot girls is that according to
No,
your
I want guys to be friends with women just so honestly, bro. I'll tell you right now, I don't want guys to be friends with women just to get fucking pussy. I want them to be friends with women so they can get a girl that like has genuine desire for them, and so they have a good social circle. So when they're in that relationship, they're not fucking taken advantage of. Because that's another
okay,
benefit of having a
so
social
there
circle. Hold on. Another benefit of having a social circle of women is that when you're in a relationship, your girl is way less likely to want to fucking leave you. It's dread game on crack because most dread guys have to go do stupid shit. They like you've heard Rolo's all his stupid dread things to try to keep the relationship together. You don't have to do any of that shit when you have a soul circle of women. None of it. The whole point of doing this is it's all setting you up for a relationship down the line. It's never just for sex, bro. I don't give a fuck about just the sex. I want guys to find genuine desire and find a good relationship that's good for a long time.
okay, so then you would say there's absolutely nothing wrong with a guy who has a social circle full of hot girls and
To get a relationship, yeah.
he hasn't been laid in 5 years. That's fine. 10 years.
Yeah, I think that's fine. As long as his intention is to just find a good relationship one day. Yeah, I
But
think that's fine.
what if that's not happening? What if he's been trying it for a decade and hasn't happened?
There's no way a dude could do this for a decade. It doesn't happen. I've seen fucking the biggest losers do this for fucking just the
Really?
smallest amount of time, and it
You
still
don't
works.
think there's guys who have female friends who never ever get laid or even have any kind of
Yeah,
success?
because they're still simping, because they're still acting like they're still in girl's friend zone. The girl, it's all about frame. Guys don't set the frame at all today, bro. You know this. Like
That's yeah,
gynocentrism is so
completely
fucking
different
strong. These dudes
example.
have no frame. Every relationship they have, it's whatever the girl wants, whatever the girl thinks. It's her rules. Like you have to set the frame of the whole friendship too, and a lot of guys don't do that.
And what's the frame that you're gonna fuck her hot friends?
Sure, yes. I'm going to be in relationships with her hot friends probably one day.
Okay, sure, you're gonna be in relationships with her hot friends, but realistically, since you have about a 1 in 6 success rate when it comes to relationships, there's you're about what is it? Something like 5x more
Bro,
likely.
I'm super picky. I get turned off if I just see a girl get too many messages the next day. Like I'll be dead ass. Like if I'm like fucking a girl and like I won't say anything, but if I see her phone blowing up like all night while she's with me or something like that, yeah, I'm kind of turned off by that. I don't like a girl that has a bunch of dudes
But
pursuing her,
if you're
or if
really
I feel like she was just fucking another dude within the last couple of weeks or anything. Like I know it was probably happening, but I don't want to see any of that shit.
yeah,
As
so
long
if
as the
you're
girl
if
keeps it
you're
fucking secret from me, I'll probably keep her around, but I don't want to see none of that shit.
so
It,
yeah,
it, it
if
just turns
you're
you off the more you learn about them.
if your only goal was to be in a relationship, then you would have screened much more aggressively beforehand, and you would not be finding it out like 5 out of 6 times after the sex.
You can't have the same screening method of our grandfathers, bro, because most women are sleeping around today and having sex on the first date. So you have to fuck them and then you screen. And that
Most
sounds
girls are.
horrible, but that's
I
how
don't
it
know why
works.
you keep saying this. Most women are not having sex on the first date.
I mean, every girl that I've been in a serious relationship with, yeah, it just depends like for the guy probably.
No, like most girls, the guys they're married to, the guys they're dating, they did not have sex on the first date. That's a little bit of an anomaly. You have a sample bias just like I do. Most of the a good or not most, but maybe like 50, 60% of the girls I've dated, I had sex with on the first date. But again, that's a sample bias. That's not what's happening for the average guy. Like most is I don't know where you keep getting this idea from that. Well, just because it works that way for me must be that it works like that for everyone. Like that's not true. Just because when I go out, I get recognized by some random dude in the street doesn't mean that happens to fucking random, Dave or John or whatever the fuck, right? There's things that apply to me and you that don't apply to other people. There's
I
things that
mean,
apply to
I'm
me.
I'm gonna assume every girl has sex on the first date, bro, because I usually end up fucking with like pretty girls, and like most pretty girls kind of like at least one dude in their past. If they're fucking 21, 22 years old, at least one guy probably got the hit like on the first night, and you're just competing with them. So yeah, it's just best to get that. I really disagree with you on that. Like there's no way that we can quantify this because I don't think there's a study that shows how many girls give it up on the first night, from my research. But I would love to find like a study that talks about that, but I don't think that they can quantify it. But that is, I heavily disagree with you. I think most girls have had sex on the first night at least one time, and I'm not saying like for dating apps or anything, but like they've done it before. Like maybe it was a guy they knew for like a couple months through the social circle, but when they went on their first date, like she fucked him. Like, and that, but that's, it's hard to say that like that's way different than a girl meeting a guy on a dating app and they meet in person one time and then they do it.
I don't see it as a big difference, but okay, I'll just grant that premise for the sake of moving the discussion forward. But either way, if a girl is so okay, but in those times where the girl had sex on the first date, it was probably a one night stand. It was probably most of the time it's not a guy that the girl wound up dating. Typically, I mean, this is a common thing among girls is that like, hey, if you really like a guy, you should probably wait a few dates to see if he really likes you. And if it's a guy that you just whatever, just want to have something casual with, then you would fuck him on the first date. So, yeah, so
That's
that's
what they do to the beta bucks, though, bro. Like, yes, you're right. Girls do have that strategy because that's a shit test. It's a shit test to see how well will I be able to control this guy in the future. Can I make him wait 2, 3, 4, or 5 dates? Okay, I'm gonna have good control in the future.
no,
Any
it's
girl that lets you hit, fast, like she clearly is like, women break rules for alphas and make rules for betas, man.
no,
Like, you don't agree with that?
sometimes, but that's mostly a screening thing. The reason the girl is with the guy she wants to be in a relationship with is gonna make him wait 2 or 3 dates is because she wants to make sure he wants to be in a relationship with her and isn't just trying to sweet talk her so he can sleep with her. That's typically the reason for that. It's like, hey, I see myself dating this guy, so therefore I'm gonna screen him by like by not having sex with him on the first night. Also, a lot of girls believe that that will make a guy respect her more and more attracted to her. Blah blah blah. So it's typically for those two reasons.
So
Um,
I have a very weird game though, and I'm very upfront with my intentions from the start, and I'm
Me
always
too.
very serious about how I want a serious relationship. So a girl knows that if she sleeps with me on the first night, she already knows I'm the type of guy that I probably won't think anything of it because I like serious things. Like I want serious relationships. So I mean, I think it's because it's all about your intent and how you say things. Now, if you go out on the first date and y'all try to do the whole casual thing where you don't talk about what you really want and how you really feel, then you're gonna have a bad time. But whenever a guy goes on the first date and he tells them straight up how he is, or the girl knows through the social circle that he's the type of guy that likes serious things like a relationship, I don't think girls think that way, man. I don't think that she's trying to sit there and make you wait, especially if she knows that you get bitches. Like, and most girls know through
it's
social circle that you get bitches.
it's not a conscious decision. It's typically subconscious. It's typically like, hey, I really like. I mean, this is a common thing. Like you said, you're friends with a lot of women. Talk to them about it. But this is a common thing amongst women. All the women I know, all the women I've slept with, or just the women I'm friends with, is that like, hey, yeah, if you like a guy, if you really like a guy, you want to be in a relationship with him, that you might not jump to sex so fast as if it's just a random guy you just want to have a one night stand with. Now, I agree with you. I'm the same way. I don't judge girls for fucking me on the first night either. In fact, it's highly encouraged. I don't think that lowers her chances with me. But that, again, I'm not everybody. There are some guys that will look down on a girl for fucking them on the first night. And
And
they
those
will see.
guys are inexperienced. They've never experienced genuine desire usually. That, like, anytime I've seen a guy do that, it's because it's like the first or second time a girl's ever done that to them. And it's like, bro, like you're calling her a hoe when that's like the first girl that ever really liked you.
Not a lot of guys view it that way. Some guys view it as like, oh, well, if she fucked me on the first night, then she's like a loose type of woman. She'd probably be more likely to cheat, blah, blah, blah. And so I want a girl who knows her value. That's kind of how they look at it. Yeah, I don't agree with that worldview, but that's just like how some guys look at the world and dating and all of that. Um, yeah, I mean,
I think inexperienced guys think that way. I think guys with low body counts think that way. Like they assume, like you know how it is. Like once your body count gets to a certain point, you kind of just stop giving a fuck about other girls being hoes. Like you, like it's something that's very, like you're such a fucking out hoeing her that you don't really think about it.
no, I know multiple guys. Like, for example, as much as I dislike Myron, I think it's pretty clear he has a high body count.
Yeah,
And
like he's that weirdo that fucking says it, but I don't know. Like I don't
like,
know a lot of people who are actually have high body counts and then still want a virgin. Like I think that's
no,
kind of
it's not.
weird.
It's not about wanting a virgin. I think most of them don't want a virgin. It's just that they will. judge a girl for fucking them on the first night. I think that just a lot of guys are like that. You and I are not like that, but doesn't mean a lot of guys are not like that. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I think we're kind of clear. We kind of went through a lot of shit. I don't know. Is there anything you want to discuss before we wrap up?
Nah, dude, that was like a good breakdown of like so much when it comes to like the two different styles. I gotta say, anytime somebody ever asks me, like what I talk about, I'm always just gonna send them this video now because it's such a good breakdown between like the differences between the two.
Yeah, I mean, I really think you should probably like learn more about the pickup community because you'll find it's not as odds with what you believe nearly as much as you think.
It's more about that. I need a boogeyman to attack Alex. Stop fucking ruining the fucking wrestling match, you fucking asshole.
There's
Like,
much better
dude.
boogeyman's. I promise you that.
Dude, I already have the red pill up against the ropes right now, man. I just need somebody to like help me go beat their
You
ass a
have
little
the
bit.
red pill against the votes, against the ropes, like Andrew Tate and like the whatever
Oh,
podcast.
I don't have them against the ropes. I got all the little small dudes on Twitter against the ropes.
Okay, so there we
Yeah,
go.
let me
So,
clarify. Yeah,
yeah, like 1% of the red pill on the
yeah,
ropes. Okay. But yeah, man. Anyway, it was fun. I enjoyed the discussion. We
yeah.
went
No, dude, it's
through
always fun with you, Alex. I'm definitely gonna try to think of another thing for us to talk about soon if we
yeah,
find
for
any
sure, man.
differences.
Anytime, bro. I'm down. All right, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Tomorrow, I'm going to be debating Trent Horn. That should be interesting. A lot of people seem to think he's a great debater. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be somewhat related. It's going to be about having sex on the first date. He's very much
Ooh,
against that. So, yeah.
that's gonna be a good one. I gotta watch that.
Oh, sorry. It's actually about premarital sex. So just having sex
Okay.
before marriage. So, yeah, that should be fun. But
Yeah,
anyway,
that's the hardest thing, bro. These try-cons just want to be with women that use them for their long-term strategy. That shit drives me crazy.
I mean, I guess to each their own. But what I have an issue is when people like shame and stigmatize people who have a different strategy or preference than them. That's why I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna push back against that. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all, and have a good night.